Hey guys and welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of What If Naruto was in Senran Kagura. Before we begin, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and also go and support the author, link in description. The sun was barely peeking above the horizon when they buried Hinata. Their new teacher made the process surprisingly smooth. Well, as smooth as it could get considering the situation. Hinata was buried close to their home, in the same field she'd spend time sparring or relaxing with her kids. Both Naruto and Hikage never lost a loved one, at least in this lifetime for Naruto, and the short goodbyes they gave to her affected them deeply. Ka-san always did like being outside. Hikage trailed off as she looked at the marked patch of land Suzun sensei buried her in. It wasn't grand or beautiful to look out, but considering the fact that most shinobi of the past were either cremated or simply left to rot, she did a good job. The grave was marked, etched into stone, displaying Hinata's name and role in life. Naruto remained quiet, he simply gazed at the stone fondly. Hinata. A loving and badass mother. He cracked a small smile as he read over the words he chose. Hikage had no clue what to etch into the stone, leaving that decision up to Naruto. He chose the two words that he always associated with the woman. Her loving feelings towards them, never changing since day one. Her strength and will that he admired. Even when Hinata was down and out, she gave everything her all. I'll miss you, Ka-chan. So much. Naruto blinked to clear his eyes of the stinging tears. I'll be strong. Strong so you'd be proud. Strong for hubby-chan. I'll never let anything happen to Hikage, not on my life. His firm gaze was locked onto the silent ground, almost hoping for a response. His train of thoughts were interrupted by Hikage, who pushed her way into his side. Naru, are you alright? She noticed him spacing out again. Hikage usually observed everything he did, but now her attention was on him 100%, his unusual behavior was eating away at her. Yeah, I'm sorry Hikage-chan, I'm just tired, ya know. I have a lot to tell you too. He interlocked their fingers together. Hikage was about to respond before the busty teacher walked up to both of them. Finally moving from her respectable distance as they grieved. She was cold and jaded, but she wouldn't deny too their last words with their mother. I will be coming back to your home later on in the day. Use the opportunity to rest up, you both need it. It was true, Hikage's disheveled appearance was only made more apparent with the bags under her uniquely colored eyes. Naruto on the other hand, looked like shit. His clothes torn with dried blood that may or may not be his own, messy hair made worse than usual, and reddened eyes from his own tears. I also need to report to Ryo-sama about the energy I felt. Could it have been the person Hinata was fighting? Or, Rin's ruby eyes narrowed behind her thin-rimmed glasses. She eyed Naruto before dismissing the thought of him being the source of the overwhelming energy. She couldn't even put her finger on what it was, it certainly felt like nothing she used before when using her own shinobi arts. Her speculation was cut short as she noticed them both nodding. She only had to address one more thing before leaving. Reaching in her bust and withdrawing a small scroll, the two teens watched with differing looks. Hikage was her usual indifference. Naruto, well. Does she really keep things in there? Do girls keep things in their bras, Kurama? He called out to the fox with a slight blush on his face. How the hell should I know? Do you think I have knowledge about what women store in their shirts? Kurama grumbled to Naruto. But you're like hundreds of years old, right? You've had to see something like this before. Naruto's face changed to an incredulous look, prompting Hikage to break her attention away from their teacher's odd action. No, half the time I was either imprisoned or sleeping. I can't give you an answer as to why this woman would keep her scroll by her breasts. Kurama paused for a second. Naruto, stop interrupting me, damn it. I'm trying to focus still. I have years of memories to view. Truthfully, Kurama enjoyed the banter with Naruto, though not when there were more important matters. Fine. Sorry, Kurama. All he got in return was another grumble from the tailed beast. Ahem. The sound of a throat being cleared snapped his attention out of his thoughts. The purple-haired woman's scroll was now gone, replaced by weapons that were obviously familiar. My blades. And Ka-chan's knife. Naruto looked at the knife with sad eyes. Hikage's attention was broken yet again from watching her Naruto's weird mental space-outs to focus on her mother's most prized material possession. Rin handed the weapons over to the teens. Naruto receiving his trench knives and Hikage holding her mother's. I'm returning these. They will both be useful for your upcoming training. With that, I'll leave you two for now. She spun on her heel, made to retreat, if not for Naruto's voice calling to her. Wait, Suzun-sensei. I want to thank you again for the help with burying Ka-chan. Naruto scratched the back of his neck slowly, a habit he's always had, before continuing. I know you didn't have to do this, but it means a lot, ya know. He trailed off, waiting for the stoic woman's response. Hikage's attention was transfixed on her mother's blade for the time being. Rin rose her eyebrow at the strange verbal quirk that Naruto had, before nodding and letting her features soften very slightly. If not for Naruto's amazing ability to read people, honed from his Hikage reading skills, he would have never noticed the change. You're both welcome. You're going to be my students. It's a teacher's responsibility to help her students, is it not? The woman questioned rhetorically before continuing on her path of exiting the clearing. Naruto watched her exit with only one thought on his mind. Evil shinobi, huh? That didn't seem very evil to me. He shook his head before looking to his partner in everything. Hubby-chan. What's wrong with the blade? The snake girl raised her head to the sound of his voice and hummed softly to herself. Nothing. Do you think Ka-san would want me to have it? She eyed her love, searching for his confirmation. Of course. You and Ka-chan fight the same way in everything. I'm sure she would be extremely proud to see her daughter fight and spill blood like she did. Naruto gave her a soft smile as he responded. His words seemed a bit crude, but their mother wasn't a soft person. Her sadistic fighting habits rubbed off on Hikage majorly, and Naruto knew that blade suited her better than himself. I guess you're right. Gripping the malicious knife, Hikage spared another look at the marked grave. I'll use this to protect Naruto. And to carry your legacy, Ka-san. Hikage gave a small smile, making Naruto chuckle. What? Nothing. You just look cute when you smile. He smirked teasingly. Feeling her face begin to heat up, Hikage looked away from his tired blue eyes before responding with a soft, ah. Naruto shook his head in amusement at her actions before he felt another wave of fatigue hit him. Hey Hikage-chan, can we go sleep for a while? I'm still really out of it from everything. He knew the house would be lonely without Hinata, but they'd make it work. They had the funds to supply the house with necessities and for paying the bills, although they wouldn't be home much anymore. That's fine, Hikage answered. Her yellow eyes narrowed slightly as she looked deeply into Naruto's. After we rest, you are going to tell me what's making you space out. No excuses. Her words were fierce despite her usual tone of voice. Okay, I will, I promise. Let's go then. I don't want Suzun-sensei to have to wake us. With those words, they both began to leave the same way they always did with Hinata. The journey back to their house was somber, and it truly did feel like a part of them was missing. I'll always be there for her, Ka-chan. Please, watch over us. Naruto closed his eyes as he slowly walked. He still felt like garbage over the events that transpired. Now he had to stay strong to protect what was important to him. Kurama, despite the focus on Naruto's fragmented memories, smiled at Naruto's proclamation. No matter what hand Naruto gets dealt, he tries to make it work. Hey, Minato, Kushina, not a day goes by where I'm not impressed by your spawn's attitude and drive. Naruto may not remember Kurama fully for the time being, but one thing's for sure. Naruto could never forget himself. Broken memories and odd circumstances meant nothing. His character and will were far too strong. Annoying brat. Asking me about women's lumps of fat. Internally, Kurama realized Naruto never asked such questions during their partnership before. Watching a memory of Naruto fighting the snake girl, Kurama noticed how quickly their clothing was being shred. Almost as if a single attack could ruin an outfit and reveal skin. What a weird world. Hikage woke up in the late afternoon, having fell asleep in her usual position. That being on top of Naruto. She stretched her sore arms before looking to her partner. Naruto passed out the second they got home. It was up to her to strip him out of his dirty clothes, something she felt no embarrassment about. This left Naruto in just his boxers, and Hikage chose to sleep in nothing. Looking around their shared room, she gave a frown at her thoughts, which were pertaining to how empty the house felt. There would be no Hinata screaming at them for breakfast or teasing them constantly. Hikage decided to put those negative thoughts away for the time being. She had to wake Naruto up to get answers. Patting his whiskered face gently, Hikage began to wake him from his rather deep sleep. There was no mumbling or nightmares, so she thought it must have been a good rest. Sky blue eyes peered open to take in the view of Hikage sitting naked on top of his chest. It didn't matter how groggy he was, the feeling of her being literally nude on top of him was waking his brain up. Among a certain other part. Where are my clothes? Naruto questioned internally. You owe me answers. Her dull tone made him blink. Wetting his dry lips, he decided to inquire about their current state. Hikage-chan, where are our clothes? He knew he fell asleep with clothes on, and usually she slept in at least a shirt or panties. This was way different. He wouldn't complain, but it was certainly new. Dirty. I took your clothes off since you fell asleep while I was in the bathroom. Why? She was basically straddling him, sitting on his abdomen without a care in the world. Naruto ignored the feeling of certain anatomy of Hikage's pressing against him, as he prayed she wouldn't turn around and notice his situation. It's her fault, damn it, he screamed internally. Naruto focused on Hikage's eyes, doing his best to not look at her chest that was fully exposed. You've never been on top of me fully naked before. So, it was new to him, and luckily Hikage was just as clueless. Does it bother you? Her question was included with her usual curious head tilt. No, it's just different. Good. Now that I know it doesn't bother you, I'll do it more often. Hikage did enjoy the way Naruto's face lit up with embarrassment. She continued shortly after watching him for a couple seconds. Now, why are you spacing out recently? What was that red stuff? What about that tattoo? Her rapid-fire questions made him stare blankly at her. Oh, you always did ask a lot of questions, Yano. Remember when we first met? You kept asking me. He was cut off by Hikage's hand covering his mouth. Stop. Don't try to change the subject. Removing her hand slightly, Naruto let out a small sigh. Fine. Promise you'll believe me, hubby-chan. Nothing I'm going to tell you will make much sense, but it's all true. Hearing how serious he was, Hikage slowly nodded. She knew she'd believe anything he said. Naruto never lied to her. I won't answer your questions in order, but the tattoo is actually a seal of sorts. I'm not quite sure how it works or who put it there yet, but I'll find out. Naruto knew he had to contact Kurama again. A seal. Hikage was rightfully confused. Yeah, it contains. He paused to scratch at his cheek thoughtfully. A giant fox that's inside me. Naruto watched as Hikage's expression went from curiosity to dull disbelief. A fox. Inside of you, Naru. Hikage-chan, I'm not making it up. It sounds ridiculous, but it's true. The fox is named Kurama. That's how I was able to use that red energy, which is called chakra by the way, to fight that bastard and break his barrier. Hikage leaned back on top of Naruto as she listened to his words. It did sound insane, but Naruto doesn't lie, and after seeing some crazy shit in the past day, Hikage was beginning to accept everything. Quote. Okay. And this fox, Kurama, this is why you're spacing out. Well, yeah, I'm talking to Kurama in my head usually. Naruto admittedly felt embarrassed over explaining this, it sounded silly. Can I meet Kurama? Despite the absurdity, Hikage believed him. She still wanted to see this so-called giant fox with her own eyes. Probably. Not right now though, Kurama is busy looking at my memories. Why? It was time to drop the truth that even he struggled to believe. Hikage-chan, Kurama said that I'm not from here. Naruto watched nervously as Hikage blinked. Her silence was evident of her confusion. Apparently, I'm not from this world, or time, whatever. I know how ridiculous this sounds, but Kurama even said I was a shinobi before. That's why I can use chakra. Those yellow eyes were lost completely. Not from here, Hikage said slowly. Yeah, I don't remember how I got here then, though I believe Kurama. The fox even said, we probably would have never met. Blue eyes took in the sight of Hikage's obvious discomfort at his words. The look on her face changed, she didn't like those words. You were a shinobi in a different world and weren't supposed to meet me. The words sounded foreign coming out of her mouth. Probably would have never met. That hurt her a lot. Naruto was everything to her. Hikage was surprised by Naruto sitting up completely in bed, grabbing her for a fierce hug. Hikage, I don't care about the circumstances behind why I'm here right now. Meeting you and Ka-chan, I've never been happier. I love you. His smile and words made Hikage's tense body relax in his arms. Both ignoring their state of dress for the time being. I love you too, Naru. Hikage unconsciously pressed her bust tighter against Naruto's bare chest. A shinobi, huh? Were you an evil shinobi like Suzun sensei? It didn't matter either way to Hikage, she was just curious. I'm not really sure, Hikage-chan. I still have to ask Kurama a lot of questions. Once I find out everything, you'll be the first to know. He released his grip, ending their hug. I believe you, even if it does sound crazy. When has anything been normal for us, Naru? She was right, their little family of three was never normal in the least. Naruto was about to open his mouth to speak when the sound of their door opening grabbed their attention. Springing up quickly, Naruto grabbed the discarded trench knives and got into a stance. Clad only in his boxers. Rin stood in the doorway, eyeing the two practically naked occupants. Why? First Heruka, now two horny teenagers. She cursed her fate. Suzun sensei, what are you doing here? Naruto lowered his knives, easing up on his instinctual battle stance. The shinobi looked her future student in the eyes. I told you both. I would come to collect you later. It's been 6 hours. Pack whatever you wish, you'll be staying in the dormitories for the time being. Rin watched as Hikage shamelessly got up and began searching for clean clothes. What was it with teenagers today? Rin wasn't one for modesty, but she never would do this around a boy. Not unless it was, well. Shaking her head, Rin let her eyes go over her students again. She cleared her throat before speaking to Naruto once more. Also, next time you take up a defensive stance, make sure your body is not reacting to anything. With those words she left the doorway and returned to the living room of the home, uncaring that she basically let herself in. Reacting to anything. Blinking in confusion, Naruto looked down and deadpanned at his issue. The sound of shuffling around was made from Hikage collecting and packing clothes. Sometimes I regret being able to see through your own eyes, brat. The deep voice carried through his head. You were going to fight an intruder while being sexually aroused. You're hilarious. The Biju gave a small laugh, sensing Naruto's embarrassment from the seal. It's Hikage's fault. That doesn't make it less funny. Shut up, Kurama. Having packed up whatever they were bringing in bags, Naruto and Hikage headed downstairs. Fully dressed now, Naruto wearing a tight button-up black shirt, exposing the necklace Hikage gifted him and his already compact muscles. Khaki pants adorned his lower body. They weren't ideal for fighting, he much preferred something looser, but he wasn't planning on picking a fight in these clothes. Completing the simple look was a black pair of sturdy boots. Hikage's outfit was also quite simple. She wore a long tight red sweater coming down to her thighs which hid a pair of denim short shorts underneath. Thigh-high black socks covered by a pair of high brown boots. The outfit showed off her developing body well. Rin stood up from her seated position on the couch and folded her arms under her huge chest, making them appear even larger. She eyed their forms again before a questioning look appeared on her face. Where's your weapons? Her questions was met with Hikage hiking up her long sweater slightly. Exposing her thigh, Hikage reached to the top of her high boots to grab Hinata's knife. She hid her weapons the same way her late mother did. Rin nodded before looking to the blonde boy. He rubbed the back of neck awkwardly. I can't fit my trench knives up my pants, sorry Suzun-sensei. They are in my bag. She deadpanned at his answer before shaking her head. It's fine, once we begin your lessons, you will learn to either store them in a scroll or find a sheath you can attach to yourself. Naruto nodded at her response. Suzun-sensei, how does storing something in a scroll work? It looked like magic. Surprisingly, Hikage questioned her. Ruby eyes looked towards yellow. Shinobi utilize a special kind of spiritual energy. It's been around far longer than any of us have. This energy is used for various techniques or storages you've seen with my own scroll. While a shinobi's body must be trained to the peak physically, mental strength is important to incorporate our techniques into combat. Seeing the kids following her so far, Rin continued her impromptu lecture. Each shinobi has a different style when it comes to combat, but they all learn basics the same way. Eventually you will learn of shinobi tension, a transformation which will aid you in increasing your output of energy and massively increases your power in battle. She waited patiently for them to take it all in, waiting for questions. Sensei, is this energy called chakra? Naruto asked her with confusion clear in his voice. Chakra, not exactly. We consider it both yin and yang spiritual energy. The two sides of energy are used for different techniques. She narrowed her eyes in thought. Chakra is way better than this nonsense. Even Kurama was listening in on this conversation intently. Naruto withheld agreeing with the Biju. He didn't know what this yin and yang energy was capable of yet. He's only seen that weird barrier thing. If that's all for now, I suggest heading out. I want to familiarize you both with the school campus and your new classmate. As I said before, you will all be starting in the same year. Seeing that neither disagreed with her, she headed towards the entrance of their home. Naruto grabbed Hikage's hand as they both looked around Hinata's house. They would miss everything about being here every day, but Hinata would never want them to sulk around depressed. That wasn't how she was. Hikage squeezed Naruto's hand, signaling that they should get moving and follow Suzun-sensei. As they made their trek in the red light district of Kabukicho, it was a quick train ride away from the main city of Shinjuku. I still can't believe the school is right in the middle of the city, Suzun-sensei. Naruto commented as they walked the busy streets of the large city. Hebiho is a shinobi school, and most would expect a hidden factor when it comes to location. What better place than in plain sight? She sounded back to Naruto as she expertly navigated around the crowds. What if people figured out what it actually is? Hikage asked, clutching Naruto's hand tightly. Worst case scenario, a barrier can be erected to fool the general populace. However, as the school is located in the castle keep ruins, tourists flock to the area outside. Other shinobi are less likely to find a blatant attraction to be suspicious. Rin gave her answer with a serious tone. Hebiho was rather large, yet nobody was none the wiser. The stronghold was in the most obvious place in the city, and in the years of its establishment, it's yet to be exposed. The group fell into a silence, continuing on their way to the school grounds. Naruto and Hikage saw the castle-like school in the early morning, but now getting a proper look it was quite the sight. Naruto whistled lowly. Wow. This is impressive. The design of the castle keep was extravagant and rich-looking. Not something he'd expect from shinobi, and certainly not what came to mind when hearing the word, ruins. Typical. Rich individuals flaunting their wealth, even when it involves something like shinobi it needs to be grand. Kurama said to Naruto, voicing disapproval over the structure. It looks nice though, doesn't it, Kurama? I suppose. As if the building matters. Let's see if these so-called shinobi are worth more than a single tail of my chakra. The tailed beast finished the sentence with rightful cockiness. All right. Not everyone can be a gigantic chakra fox. Damn right. Naruto. Snapping his head to the side, he looked to Hikage who had her face scrunched up in confusion. Kurama. The girl questioned. At Naruto's affirmative shake of the head to her question, she gave her own nod. Rin rose an eyebrow again. These two. Something was up. She'd find out in time, she's sure. They'll be seeing a lot of each other. She began speaking to break their attention from each other. We will head around the back, until you both are confident enough in your stealth to sneak through the front. Entering the front of a shinobi school could be dangerous for any individual. The politicians and powerful figures behind the scenes paid good money for protection. Naruto and Hikage received a small tour of the school grounds as Rin walked them through it. North, south, east and west entrances held different facilities for the school. Whether that be training grounds, classrooms, dorms, or even a cafeteria. All of this was hidden within the large amount of land the ruins encompassed. Here is where you'll be meeting your fellow classmate. Rin gestured to the large set of red doors. It's a simple training room. I've instructed her to wait there until I returned and showed you all where you'll be staying. Without waiting for a response, Rin opened the large doors easily. Walking in with the two on her heels, she looked around the large room. Where is she? Were Rin's first thoughts before she saw it out of the corner of her eye. The damn girl was making this a pain in the ass too, it seemed. She watched as Heruka, clad in a mask, jumped from the rafters of the ceiling onto a seemingly unsuspecting Naruto. Walking into the room with Rin, Naruto eyed the training room with a critical eye. There were weights, practice dummies and a hell of a lot of weapons thrown about. Naruto. Kurama growled out. Watch above you. Someone's trying to get the drop on you. I sense them from here. The tailed beast's emotion sensing was in full effect. Got it. Thanks, Kurama. Naruto's eyes turned cold as he moved slightly away from Hikage, bracing for a fight. Damn it. Not with my nice clothes too. He cried out mentally over the misfortune. That's when he heard it, the slight movement of wood creaking from above and a body was coming towards him. Tensing his arms, he raised his head the second he felt them get closer. Grabbing the arm that was extended with a wooden weapon, Naruto blinked as he held it tightly. The person attacking him was wearing a blank white mask, no discernible features besides the curled blonde hair. Curled blonde hair. Where's he seen that before? His mental questioning was cut short as he felt the arm he was holding go limp. Heruka. Suzun sensei called out with a cold tone. What is the meaning of this? Naruto's eyes widened considerably while Hikage's narrowed dangerously. That name. The masked girl was seemingly frozen in place. The wooden kunai fell flat to the ground. Naruto felt her stare on his face through the eye holes of that blank mask. Ruto. The blonde girl's arms fell to her sides as Naruto released her quickly. Her shaky hands came up to remove the mask from her face. The face underneath was what made Naruto shocked. Heruka. The same green eyes and soft doll-like features. Admittedly she was beautiful, he idly noticed the missing pink bow in her hair. Naruto. Kurama began but Naruto wasn't listening. He was distracted by seeing the friend that he thought he lost. Where'd she go? Why'd she never answer the door when he was waiting outside? Was it his fault? It's been years but considering his list of friends was countable on one hand, it meant a lot. Heruka. What are you doing here? The girl's shocked face morphed into a genuine smile as she looked at the handsome boy. Her eyes searched everywhere quickly, his facial features and body. I can ask you the same question, Naruto. Her voice was quite different, and Naruto supposed it made sense. They were older now. Single quote. Naruto. Kurama called to him again, only to be ignored. To be a shinobi of course. Why else haha. It felt really awkward right now. Before Heruka could speak, Rin cut them off fast. What's the meaning of you attacking them right now? Now normally Rin wouldn't care. Evil shinobi tended to have accidents around school, but considering they all caught the attention of a major benefactor, a certain degree of caution had to be taken. Naruto. At Kurama's shout, Naruto's eyes widened as he felt movement from his left. Hikage moved into action fast, crossing the short distance to Heruka in a split second. Hand drawing her mother's knife, Hikage pinned her to the ground. Heruka's eyes were widened in shock over what just transpired. The snake-eyed girl said nothing as she held her position over Heruka, knife ready to stab. Naruto's mouth hung open at her actions. Dumbass. Next time listen to me. All I felt was contempt from your little girlfriend. Kurama grumbled to the shocked Naruto. Hikage. Remove yourself from her now. Heruka. I want an explanation. Suzun sensei's stance and words put everyone on edge. Hikage looked into Haruka's green eyes with her own emotionless expression before getting up quickly and returning to Naruto's side. She slid the knife back into its makeshift sheath of her boot and leaned on Naruto's frame. Hikage's body almost coiling against his own. Heruka blinked her shock away before standing up and glaring with hatred at the green-haired girl. Naruto watched her face go through a mixture of emotions as she turned to Suzun. Suzun sensei. I apologize. I wished to test the new students. I did not mean to overstep my boundaries. The girl bowed low, her already large chest jiggling with the motion. Her outfit consisting of a tight yellow sweater, almost too tight, and a surprisingly tame pink skirt. Wow, she grew. Naruto averted his eyes quickly. Oh, by the sage. See to it that you don't do it again. I'm the one who will be testing others. Not you. The girl nodded her head, understanding as she raised from her bow. Haruka's eyes searched out Naruto's. The green eyes bore into his own deeply. Her face lit up in a very small blush. Naruto held back a wince at feeling Hikage's grip become painful. Good. Now then, you three will probably be placed into the same first-year classes. Get acquainted and I'll be back shortly to lead you to the dorms. You will all be in the same section of the dorms. Haruka's face lit up even more at Rin's words. Hikage's darkened considerably. The clicking of Rin's heels as she exited the room signaled the three teens to have a small stare-off. Hikage drilling holes into Haruka's head, Naruto squinting his eyes in slight pain over Hikage's hold, and Haruka looked very pleased. Naruto-kun. Before I ask about why you and her are here, I want to apologize. Haruka's expression changed to one of guilt. I'm sorry for attacking you today, but more importantly for not showing up to play anymore. It was my family's decision. I tried every day, I just couldn't. Please forgive me. Naruto eyed the pretty girl, searching for any sign of a lie. Yes, it was childish, but it hurt him a lot to find out she wouldn't meet up with him anymore. It felt like he did something wrong, and for months he blamed himself. Hikage broke him out of that funk, as she hated seeing him upset. She's being genuine. Naruto mentally thanked Kurama, before giving Haruka a small smile. No matter the size of that smile, the blush on Haruka's face was amplified. It's alright. I thought it was my fault for a while. I'm glad to know you still wanted to be friends. We are friends, right? He used the arm that was free of Hikage's grip to scratch at his neck. Of course, Naruto-kun. We can even go on the swings whenever we can if that's okay with you. Hikage narrowed her eyes, before channeling some of her inner Hinata and giving a rude response. Oh, how old are you? Asking him to go on the swings. The emotionless voice was tinged with sarcasm. Haruka narrowed her eyes hatefully at Hikage. Nobody asked for your opinion. This is between me and Naruto-kun. Yeah, doll girl. At Hikage's words, Haruka's fingers tightened into a fist. The blonde girl gave a chilling smile towards the green-haired one. Era. Want to repeat that, snake slut? Naruto, seeing a fight was about to break out, hugged Hikage to himself, missing the hurt expression on Haruka's face. Girls, please. We are going to be in the same classes, let's all get along. Seeing them both relax slightly at his words, Naruto sighed internally. Crisis averted. For now, brat. Were you always such a smartass? The fox didn't give a response. Only because you asked, Naruto-kun. I have to ask though, you do know this is an all-girls academy, right? Haruka wouldn't complain, but she wondered how he felt. I know. I can already tell these girls won't enjoy that. Naruto dreaded the classes. Hell, he's never even been in a real school. How is he going to even know what the hell he's doing? If you need help with classes or anything, I'll always be there for you. Haruka genuinely wanted to help her only friend. Naruto gave a grin at her words, appreciating her offer. Thanks, Haruka-chan. I'll count on you then. Kurama decided to be silent at the brewing emotions it felt from the girl that claimed to be emotionless. Oh well, Naruto would have an issue to deal with in the future, not Kurama. How'd you both end up coming here though? If I remember, you were both with. Haruka paused, pushing her breasts up with her arms, seemingly thinking. Hinata. She noticed the expression on Naruto's and surprisingly Hikage's drop into one of sadness. She kicked herself mentally for the question. Ka-chan. She passed away. Just yesterday actually. On my birthday. Naruto trailed off with sadness. He felt Hikage's hand holding his own and squeezed it thankfully. I'm sorry. For both of you. Hikage blinked at her adversary's words. She was a very nice woman from what I could remember. If it means anything. Happy belated birthday, Naruto-kun. Haruka gave a strained smile. It's alright, you didn't know. Thanks, though Haruka-chan. He told her softly. Suzun-sensei found us passed out and offered us a chance to be shinobi. Hubby-chan and I always liked shinobi, so we figured why not, ya know. Haruka nodded her head, remembering Naruto playing and pretending to be a shinobi at the park 4 years ago. I see. Well, I'm glad you're here. That statement was obviously only directed at Naruto, much to Hikage's hidden ire. What about you, Haruka-chan? How'd you end up here? Those blue eyes looked so innocent that Haruka felt she should tell the truth. She couldn't. Suzun-sensei took an interest in me one day and consulted my parents with the opportunity, and here I am. Haruka gave a big fake smile. She's definitely lying. I won't tell Naruto. I'll let him figure it out on his own. Kurama didn't want Naruto to depend on the emotional sensing completely. Besides, the Biju sensed no bad intentions towards Naruto, so it must be a personal reason. Nice. You must be pretty skilled then. Maybe we can spar one day. Hikage bit her lip slightly at Naruto's words. Sparring was their thing. She didn't want this doll to take that away. I'll take you on any day. Naruto-kun. The words were actually said with quite a suggestive undertone. Obviously, Naruto didn't pick up on it. Great. Haruka's face twitched at his obliviousness. Rin entered the room again, her teaching outfit looking crisp and proper, despite the insane amount of cleavage. I hope for your sake that you all calm down. Now follow me. I'll lead you to the rooms. The three shinobi to be followed her lead away from the training room. Haruka's eyes narrowed on the held hands of her fellow students. Heading to the east gate was the dormitory, yet again another large building. This time there were presumably students around. All female. The girls from various ages and sizes eyed the teacher and group of teens. Mumbling went through the air as the shinobis gossiped about the new students. They were shinobi in training. Gossiping was still a part of their school life. Look at the blonde-haired girl. Her chest is huge. The green-haired one is ridiculous too. But her yellow eyes are creepy. Is that a boy? There's no way that's a girl. Look at his muscles. I bet he can lift me up easily. Lift you up? I bet he could. Kurama, are you hearing this? What the hell is going on? Yes. And it's gossip. Just ignore it. Naruto and Kurama would have continued talking if not for the very muscled girl who licked her lips as she winked at Naruto. His face turned pale. Kurama. She's got more muscle than anyone I've seen before. It's like that muscle head Raikage was reincarnated as a teenage girl. Even Kurama was shocked. Naruto decided not to inquire about this, Raikage, for the time being. Instead he increased his pace to stick close to Suzun. Well, this is it. The dormitories. I'll lead you three to the rooms. Naruto and Hikage will be sharing one. Heruka, your room is next door. Rin lead them inside, professionally ignoring all the teenage girls who stared or gawked at the three. Mostly because of Naruto. Naruto swallowed nervously. Do these rooms have showers in them? At Rin's head shake, Naruto's blood ran cold. No, there's a community bath on your floor. Hikage's eyes widened at the implication. Naru can't shower with a bunch of girls. She told their teacher quickly. Haruka watched silently with a smirk. Why not? He will be on his best behavior, I'm sure. This is a shinobi school. Modesty has no place here. He'll learn to get past the embarrassment. She didn't see the point in being embarrassed over being naked, then again she's been at this for years. Rin briefly wondered what reactions the other students would have. Reo-sama's decision, not mine. Shrugging to herself she continued the walk. Naru, I'll make sure nobody bothers us in the shower. Hikage told him quietly, making his mouth hang open again. She still wants to shower together. He grew irritated at Kurama's laugh. Here are the rooms. She showed them traditional-looking Japanese sliding doors. Opening them, they were greeted to the sight of a rather spacious area. It held a sizable bed, desk, dresser, and proper lighting. It wasn't the most well-equipped room, but again, they weren't going to be in their rooms constantly. Haruka, your room is to the direct left of this one. Naruto, Hikage, this is your room. She looked the three teens over. Get situated before returning to the same training room you were previously in. You have an hour. With that she simply vanished. No longer in sight of civilians, she could freely use shinobi techniques. Naruto-kun, are you okay being in a room with her? If you want, I'm sure we can stay together. Hikage disliked the way Haruka worded that. Oh, no, it's okay Haruka-chan. Hubby-chan and I have lived together for a long time. Thanks for worrying though. He gave her a smile that she couldn't be mad at. We'll see you in an hour Haruka-chan, we can all walk together if that's alright. Seeing the blonde girl's shy nod, he threw a wave over his shoulder as Hikage pulled him away. Hikage pulled the doors shut with a slam. Turning to look blankly at Naruto, he tilted his head at her actions. Setting their bags down he watched Hikage. Her gaze narrowed, yellow eyes almost glowing. Hika. She pounced on him suddenly. His back hit the floor quickly. Locking her lips to his own, he blushed when he felt her long tongue hitting against his lips. Opening his mouth, he lost the battle to Hikage quickly. The girl easily dominated the kiss with instincts and experience that she didn't even have. Breaking the kiss with a trail of saliva connecting them, Naruto stared at the flushed yet emotionless face of his hubby-chan. Wow, what was that for? You're mine. She responded back so quickly. That doll girl can't have you. Naruto was confused as to why she was bringing up Haruka. Before he realized it, Hinata always mentioned how jealous Hikage could get. Hubby-chan, are you jealous? Naruto teasingly questioned her. His response earned him a narrowed look as she gripped his hair and pushed her mouth onto his own again. You are mine, Naruto. Her dull tone was tinged with anger. Hikage-chan, you know I love you more than anything. He put her arms around her, pulling her down to him. Stop being stupid, it's not like I could ever love more than one girl, ya know. Hikage didn't respond to his last sentence. Knowing Naruto was indeed a very loving person, the thought worried her slightly. He definitely could do that. But, she knew what they had was special, nobody could take that away. I love you too. That's why you're mine. Nobody can have you but me. Hee hee. You're jealous. His chuckle was muffled when she slammed her lips onto his own for a third time. If my siblings were still here, I'd make a bet for my tails on these two not making it out of this room to meet with that woman. Kurama thought with a tired expression. Never having seen Naruto doing something like this, Kurama settled its head down. Waiting for something interesting to happen. I refused to watch two people do this to each other. It was bad enough with Kushina. Kurama hoped her son didn't inherit her habits. Why couldn't he be flaky like his father? Ah, Naruto. Hikage moaned very quietly. Nope. Cutting the connection. The life of Kurama was a tough one. Haruka waited patiently outside her room, looking at the door leading to Naruto's. She was in a good mood, something that she hasn't felt in a long time. Sure, exposing her father to the public and stopping her controlling mother were positives in her life. Having a friend though, that felt good. It doesn't hurt that he's so handsome. She had a cute blush on her face. The door opened and Haruka was greeted to the sight of a rather disheveled-looking Naruto. His shirt wrinkled, hair a mess, and she could have sworn his lips were bruised. Hikage on the other hand was adjusting the collar of her sweater, her green hair also in disarray. What the hell did they do in there? Haruka thought to herself. Did they? The previous blush on her face flared up as she began thinking about rather racy things involving Naruto. The blonde boy walked over to Haruka, giving her a small wave with the hand not attached to Hikage's. The snake-eyed girl looked in her direction with disinterest, having stopped fiddling with the neck of sweater for the time being. Yo, ready to go see Suzun-sensei, Haruka-chan. Naruto eyed her flushed face with curiosity. Why yes, I'm ready. At her agreement, they made their way out of the dorms. Naruto did his best to ignore the whispers of the females on his floor. These girls were very vulgar it seemed, and forward. I wonder if I can turn any of these foolish girls into my dolls. It'd be quite easy seeing how they are distracted by Naruto-kun. Haruka wondered maliciously. The way she acted in front of Naruto wasn't fake, but she wasn't as pure as her appearance would lead people to believe. Hikage kept a mental note of these girls' faces and their comments. For no reason. The walk to the training room was roughly 5 minutes away before the large red doors greeted them. Naruto gave a harsh push with his arms, cracking the door wide open. Suzun-sensei watched from the middle of the room with a small frown at his rude actions. That wasn't what caught Naruto's attention though, it was the man standing next to her. He was dressed in a formal suit, stark white hair pushed back. He would paint the intimidating picture to anyone else, but Naruto merely looked him over with a serious expression. You three. This is Ryo-sama, the principal of Hebiho Academy. At Rin's words she looked expectantly to the three future shinobi. Seeing as they just sized the man up, Rin's frown increased. Bowing is the proper form of respect in this situation. The man merely watched the interaction, not making any movements to give away if the teen's actions bothered him. I'm not bowing to this guy. The great Naruto bows to no one. He yelled mentally. Naruto could practically feel Kurama's fanged grin in his head. HMPH. As if the host of the Kyuubi would bow to such a man. Seeing the teenagers staring blankly, Rin was displeased. She opted to scold them before Ryo raised his hand slowly. I do not care if you don't wish to show me respect. However, when you represent Hebiho and take missions from clients in the future, you will show them proper respect. Understood. The man's deep voice sent a chill down Haruka's spine. Hikage only tilted her head at him. Naruto on the other hand. Bowing to clients. Ha, as if I need clients. You definitely need those jackass. Don't mess this up. Well, Kurama killed his mood. Naruto visibly deflated, causing confusion for the occupants in the room. I'll take your silence as a yes. As Suzun has said, I am the principal of this fine establishment. You three are going to be tested right now to determine placement. Ryo paused, eyeing the three teens. They didn't look like much to him, nothing like his daughter. However, Dogen wanted this to happen, he had no choice. Any other student would start with only the basics, but apparently these kids could be advanced. Ridiculous. Ryo thought condescendingly. Alright, are we fighting you old man? Naruto's loud voice called out in the training room. Rin's eyebrow twitched, while the two younger girls looked amused. Ryo merely sighed before glaring at the blonde boy. No, Suzun, you've assigned them partners from my jurisdiction, yes. Ryo was honestly looking forward to this for one reason. Yes, Ryo-sama, your daughter will indeed be testing one of them. That was his reason. While he couldn't be called a good father, certainly not after his wife's awful death, he still cared for Miyabi's skill. As cold as she was now, he still held pride for her power. He gave a curt nod to Suzun, who signaled once with her hand as 3 individuals dropped from the ceiling. Naruto's face turned white as a ghost at one of the girls. No, Kurama, help. The fox was too busy laughing to care. The girl was the same muscled one from before. Very tall and extremely fit, she was more intimidating to Naruto than the damn leader of the school. Her muscles have muscles, Kurama. This gave Kurama another round of laughter. The girl gave a smirk at Naruto, eyeing him hungrily. The other 2 girls were seemingly more girlish. One of them had a rather boyish haircut. Shoulder-length white hair, seemingly similar facial features to the principal, and eyes that actually reminded Naruto of his Hikage-chan. He tilted his head, watching her cold yellow eyes. He took in the rest of her appearance. The clothing was shared among all the girls with minor differences. That's the school uniform. Oh, how the hell didn't I notice this before? Naruto willed his blush away with overwhelming will lower. The white-haired girl was very developed. He noticed her breasts seemed even bigger than Hikage's. Then again, this girl looked at least a few years older. Her black and red uniform was classic for schoolgirls, if not for the infinity symbol on the collar and how absurdly short it was. Naruto slightly noticed the black tight compression shorts she wore underneath. The skirt was very short. Naruto moved his eyes to the next girl. Light brown hair framed her cute face, albeit her forehead was quite large. Her green eyes were covered by a thin pair of glasses. She was just as voluptuous as the white-haired girl, seeming about the same age. Her uniform lacked the shorts, revealing her long legs easily. Fighting with himself to look at the next black-haired girl, he broke out into a cold sweat. Her brown eyes didn't move from him the whole time. It wasn't that the girl was ugly. She was just very muscled. To an extreme. She could break a person in half with those arms alone. The uniform was tight and short on her body, making Naruto resist running and hiding. Hikage and Heruka looked at the oddly nervous Naruto. His face looked paler and the sweat running down it made them slightly concerned. Naruto, Hikage, Heruka. These are your opponents. Introduce yourselves, girls. The purple-haired woman eyed the 3 new arrivals. The bespectacled girl went first, replying with a flat voice, seemingly deeming this unimportant. Amu, 3rd year. The white-haired girl responded next, in a colder voice than even Suzun. Miyabi, 3rd year. She locked her cold eyes onto Naruto, glaring at him for no particular reason. Finally, the one Naruto dreaded. Aiko, 3rd year. She winked at Naruto, who withheld a screech of fear. Kurama, please, did I know any techniques that can stop me from having to fight her? She will break me in half. He pleaded internally. No, this is the most entertainment I've had in a while. I'm actually hoping you fight her. Kurama chuckled at Naruto's despair. The matches are to last for only a few minutes. Try to not go for death blows. This is a test. I expect good results, you 3. Rin moved with the principal to the sides of the room. The matchups are Hikage and Amu. The snake girl locked eyes with the uninterested visage of the glasses girl. Naruto and please. Naruto mentally chanted. Miyabi. Yes. Eat that, Kurama, Heruka and Aiko. Kurama groaned out in disappointment, genuinely enjoying Naruto's fear over the big girl. Hikage, Amu, you may begin once the others stepped to the side. Miyabi and the mountain of a girl moved quickly. Heruka paused for a second, before continuing to the edge of the room, waiting for Naruto. Hikage-chan, good luck, okay? You won't need it. But I love you, got it? Naruto whispered as he locked eyes with her. She gave him a very small smile. Love you too. With that he turned and waited next to the now happy Heruka. You got this, Hikage-chan. I believe in you. Hikage vs Amu. The girls eyed each other as they stood in the middle of the room. Amu pushed her glasses up suddenly before scoffing at her opponent. What a disappointment. This is what the first years look like. Her condescending tone wasn't missed on Hikage. Nice forehead. Hikage replied flatly. Imu's eye twitched violently. What was that? She trailed off dangerously. I said nice forehead. Was this girl slow? Hikage hoped not. She wanted a good fight. She had to let out some pent-up stress. Suzun-sensei, please start the match. The glasses-wearing girl called out through gritted teeth. Begin. Rin shouted loudly. Hikage was off, her speed making some of the occupants in the room raise an eyebrow. Her special way of running also made Haruka stare. Amu kept her trained eyes focused on the girl who was bobbing and weaving as she tried approaching her fast. Hikage attempted to go for a feint, deciding to attack from one of Imu's blind spots. She lashed out with a brutal fist. Extend. Amu called out suddenly. In just the few seconds it took Hikage to reach her, Amu withdrew a scroll and revealed a weapon. A long red and yellow staff. Her yell of extend made Hikage widen her eyes. That's when she felt the pain in her stomach. Hikage got sent back quite a bit, recognizing Naruto's concerned yell in the background. She eyed the now enlarged staff being wielded easily by Amu. The girl was smirking. Advantage. Suzun-sensei yelled out. Hikage glanced down, her sweater ripped up from just that attack. Her toned stomach becoming revealed as well as her very short denim jean shorts. She looked back up and felt her heart beating faster. She gave a small feral smile. Amu was about to gloat over how weak these first years were, mostly to impress Miyabi, before she blinked once. What? Narrowly avoiding a very sickly-looking knife, Amu jumped back barely in time. Her shirt being ripped as a result. Luckily it didn't stab into her. Grimacing at her military-themed green bra being revealed, she narrowed her eyes to focus intently. Advantage. The Shinobi teacher called loudly. Hikage sprang into action, dipping low to the ground and approaching Amu. Take a low swipe at Imu's legs, the girl was forced to jump to avoid the strike. However, Imu's been training for years, her counter with a rather fierce kick sent Hikage away a couple feet away, but it didn't deter the snake girl for long. Using her experience from training with Hinata, Hikage knew a frontal assault wouldn't be effective without a distraction. Luckily she had some tricks up her sleeves. Tricks were knives in Hikage's case. Amu waited in her preferred stance for Hikage's next move. The staff wielder kept one leg raised and placed slightly behind her, obviously more confident in her leg's ability to counter when her staff cannot. Her eyes widened behind the glasses when she noticed 4 black-handled knives flying at her with incredible speeds. Dipping low, she crouched underneath, only to be surprised again by Hikage entering her personal space. The snake-like girl had her long tongue slightly sticking out of her mouth as she went for a slash with her knife. Amu tried reacting quickly with the staff, but Hikage spun around suddenly on the balls of her feet and slashed at her legs. Damn it! Amu cursed loudly, feeling the knife cut into her leg. To her credit, she reacted quickly and tried bashing the staff into Hikage's side. The hit caught nothing but air as Hikage maneuvered around Amu. Sheathing her mother's knife fast, this time she went for a punch to the back of the girl's head. Right before it could make contact, another yell of, "Extend!" caught Hikage off guard again. The staff flew out quickly, hitting Hikage in the knee. She let out a hiss but still attempted to go through with her punch. Amu gripped the green-haired girl's fist tightly with her hand, noticing the wicked knife wasn't in her grip. She was about to crack her staff into the girl again when she noticed it, a knife extending out the girl's other sleeve. Small but deadly, pointing directly at her throat. Amu froze. Obviously she wasn't going all out, her shinobi transformation wasn't a factor for this test, but the fact that this girl got her off guard multiple times. It because Miyabi is watching. Amu reasoned to herself, sparing a glance at the yellow eyes of the girl she admired. It's over. Hikage wins. Rin was genuinely impressed by the performance. Hikage was fast, extremely so. Sure, Amu wasn't going all out, she didn't even use any shinobi arts, but that doesn't discredit Hikage's skill. Meanwhile, Ryo had a calculating look on his face, surprised by the outcome. How would Dogen know about this? The white-haired man thought suspiciously. Yeah, good job hubby-chan. I knew you could do it. Naruto cheered out, causing Miyabi to hold a glare to his face. Hikage felt warm at Naruto's praise as she slid the knife up her sleeve. Withholding a wince at the pain in her knee, she looked to Amu. The glasses wearer was disappointed in herself for letting Hikage get the drop on her multiple times. She glared at Hikage from behind her glasses. Nice spar forehead. Amu growled under her breath at the insult. Don't get cocky, new girl. The results would be way different if I wasn't holding back. Yeah. Hikage began walking away, eyes focused on Naruto's beaming smile. Haruka merely gave her a single nod out of respect. Hikage wasn't sure, nor did she care much. Naruto's praise was the only one that mattered to her. Next, Naruto versus Miyabi. Naruto gave both girls next to him a cheeky grin and a small salute. Alright, I'll be back ladies, wish me luck. Good luck Naruto-kun. I'm very excited to see you fight. Heruka gave a strange smile to him. I'm excited to fight too. Naruto called back. Haruka's eye twitched. She noticed Hikage didn't wish him good luck. Seeing the opportunity to call the girl out, Haruka took it. Oh, you don't want to wish him good luck. He doesn't need it. Haruka merely hummed at the response, waiting to see if Hikage was right. Naruto versus Miyabi. The same rules apply. Don't forget to stray from death blows. You will begin on my shout. Suzun sensei strictly told them. Miyabi narrowed her eyes at the younger teenager. She took in his features, he certainly looked different with those whisker marks and bright blue eyes. His muscle tone hinted at extensive training. Maybe this won't be a complete waste of time. She still continued to glare at him. Kurama, why's she glaring so much? I don't know. Her filthy attitude reminds me of the damn Uchiha. Don't screw around Naruto. The girl definitely looked trained. Kurama knew Naruto needed to focus since he was without chakra for the time being. Uchiha. Later. Focus now. Naruto shook his head to clear his mind before hearing Miyabi speak in her cold tone. Where's your weapon? The girl had a sheathed katana held tightly in her grasp. The grip decorated with a red trim. Even through the sheath, Naruto was on edge. That certainly looked dangerous. Ah, well, I kinda don't have anywhere to put my knives right now, so they are back in my room. He finished slowly, watching as she let out a sigh. Never mind. This will be disappointing. Miyabi muttered lowly. Naruto put a smile on his face despite being pissed off at her words. You won't be saying that when I'm kicking your pretty ass all over the room. His comment was heard throughout the entire room. Most of the occupants looking incredulously at him. Hikage glared slightly. Rin had enough, so with a shout of, begin. The two shot off towards each other. Miyabi made the first move, swinging her sheathed blade out towards his legs, looking to literally sweep him off his feet. Naruto jumped over the intended strike easily, jumping forward to prepare a grapple like he'd do to Hikage. The white-haired girl was ready, keeping her stance firm. She backstepped and angled the sword's sheath to his chest. She struck violently, intending to push him back, just how Amu did with her staff. Naruto wasn't having any of it. He leaned to the left slightly and grasped the sheathed blade. Her grip on it was firm. She wouldn't let him simply disarm her. Perfect. Naruto could feel Kurama's dark grin too at his strategy. Yanking the blade forward, Miyabi had a second to furrow her brow in confusion at his unorthodox actions, before his fist connected with her cheek harshly. Miyabi's body and blade got sent flying back. The impact of the ground hitting her back made her wince slightly. That punch had a lot of power behind it. Advantage. The teacher called out. Naruto stood firm in an odd stance. It looked completely relaxed, but anyone in the room with a hint of fighting knowledge knew his body was tensed in preparation for Miyabi's next move. The cold teenager stood and rubbed at her cheek, no doubt that would bruise. She kept her glare up before slowly removing the sheath of her blade. The silver katana metal gleamed dangerously in the light of the training room. Letting the sheath drop to the floor, Miyabi was off before it could meet the floor. Her speed momentarily surprised Naruto. She's faster than Hikage, no doubt. He tensed his leg muscles, preparing to move. A second later, Miyabi was on him, going for an overhead strike with her blade. The no-death blow rule was completely disregarded now. He had to sidestep multiple times to avoid being stabbed by her vicious swings. They looked wild, but in truth they were executed perfectly. Damn it, I wish I had my trench knives to at least block right about now. He lamented internally. Narrowly avoiding a slice towards his abdomen, it managed to slice into the fabric of his shirt, easily ripping the material of the black button-up. No, not my nice clothes. Kurama's sweat dropped at Naruto's thoughts. Miyabi began getting frustrated at seeing him dance away from her stabs. She grit her teeth even more before lunging at him, set to impale. Her right arm extended and pushed the blade forward. That's when Naruto moved, with such skill and speed that Ryo's face hardened on the sidelines. What is this boy? Pivoting around Miyabi's extended arm, Naruto grabbed her wrist tightly, applying pressure that made her eyes widen in pain. The fact that his grip was this strong made her shocked. Her hand shook as she dropped the katana. She attempted to bring her left hand to land a blow on his unguarded face before Naruto swept her legs out from underneath her. Miyabi was frozen the whole way down to the floor, noticing the intense blue eyes staring at her with a small smirk. His fist was aimed right at her face, held in place by his own will. She stared into his eyes for a few seconds, neither moving, before she went to reach into the shirt of her school uniform. Rin on the sidelines, yelled out suddenly, stopping Miyabi's action. It's over. Miyabi. Do not. The white-haired girl's glare was deadly, yet she relented and dropped her hand. Naruto was curious at the action. He looked over to the shell-shocked Ryo and Suzun sensei. What was she going to do? He remained in his position, crouched over Miyabi, doing his best to avoid looking at how her huge breasts rose with her breathing. What happened to you, Naruto? Naruto ignored Kurama in favor of waiting for the purple-haired teacher's response. The scroll she holds is essential to her shinobi tension. It seems Miyabi was thinking of using it despite this being a simple spar. Suzun sensei criticized her actions but watched her wording. After all, Ryo was her father and leader for the time being. Ryo was watching the interaction silently. He wondered why he didn't feel angry over this. Perhaps because the boy wouldn't stand a chance if she transformed. Ryo knew of his daughter's abilities, her black flames easily surpassing a lot of abilities both evil and good shinobi have. Sure, he was upset she lost, but perhaps she could take this as a lesson to never underestimate an opponent. Amu and Akio were equally as stunned seeing Naruto pin down the best student of their year. Miyabi was well on her way to being an elite. She'd even be given a mission later on in the year alongside a kagura, the strongest rank of shinobi, to test her on the field. Amu silently fumed, despising the blonde boy for daring to touch Miyabi in such a way. Haruka blinked in astonishment a few times before looking to the bored Hikage. Told you. Haruka had nothing to say to that. Naruto got off of Miyabi and offered his hand down to her. A soft smile was on his face. Hey, that was a good spar. If it weren't for my dodging, You would have skewered me with that sword. That katana looks so cool by the way. He let his hand hang there, waiting for her to take it. She eyed his face and hand before scoffing and pushing herself up. Now standing, she went to grab her sheath and discarded weapon before turning her back to Naruto and walking to where Amu was waiting. Naruto scratched the back of his head in confusion. Was it something he said? You made a fool out of her in front of her father. Don't worry, I'm proud. The tailed beast called to Naruto. I didn't want to make her upset Kurama, I just wanted to spar. And hey, she ruined my nice shirt. Whatever, just watch your back from now on, her eyes show she's the type to hold a grudge. Kurama paused before letting out a few laughs. Now we get to watch your new admirer fight. I hate you. Making his way to the girls, he gave them a thumbs up, receiving one back from Hikage. Haruka nervously smiled. Seems like you didn't need luck after all, Naruto-kun. She was strong, Haruka-chan. I just caught her off guard is all. I do appreciate you wishing me luck though. His smile made her turn her face away. Now please be careful against that girl. She's literally huge. Naruto didn't want to insult her, even though she scared the shit out of him. Hikage's mouth quirked up in amusement, watching as Haruka looked a bit worried. Channeling her mother's snarky personality again, Hikage responded. Don't worry, it's a spar, she won't break you in half. Her words earned her a weak glare from Haruka. Naruto leveled an amused stare at Hikage before scolding her lightly. Hikage-chan, don't tease her. Good luck out there, Haruka-chan, I believe in you too. The blonde girl felt reinvigorated by his words as she made her way to the middle of the room. Haruka versus Akio. The muscled teen stood waiting to Haruka to stand opposite of her before letting a rough grin cross her features. The blonde girl raised an eyebrow at her actions. Hey, you're friends with that cutie, right? Haruka nodded her head slowly in confusion before the girl continued. When this is over, put in a good word for me, okay? I'd love to take him for a ride sometime. Haruka blushed a bit at the older girl's words. If they spoke any louder, the whole room would hear them. At least that's what she thought. I hate this. Is everyone just horny? Rin thought, looking up to the heavens. She sighed slowly before shouting out loudly once more. Begin. Haruka immediately took up a defensive stance, getting more space from her opponent. The muscled girl gave an amused smile at her actions. I don't bite, you know. Well, she looked at Naruto from the corner of her eye. The boy broke out into a cold sweat. Haruka decided to steel herself. The older girl was good at getting into her head and making her embarrassed. I guess if you won't come to me. Akio took giant steps suddenly. I'll come to you. Her arms were stretched out the minute she got close, going for something akin to a bear hug, but more dangerous. Haruka narrowly ducked the outstretched arms as a faint sound of glass shattering carried throughout the room. Akio paid it no mind, turning on her heel and attempting to grapple Haruka again. Despite Haruka's large assets, she was quite nimble, avoiding the girl's grabs with some effort. Akio began to get annoyed. Stop dodging and fight back. Haruka's face morphed into an evil smile, mentally counting the seconds in her head. Her eyes widened when she watched Akio seemingly vanish and arms grip her midsection tightly. Haruka's arms were trapped in the hold, her legs began to kick out hopelessly. Nobody can escape my grab, you know. These muscles aren't just for show. The arms were painfully tight, Haruka began to struggle to breath. Give in, don't embarrass yourself in front of that cutie. She revealed a vicious smirk befitting of an evil shinobi. 3. Haruka counted down, face set in a grimace. The arms tightened even more, making her struggle pointless. 2. Gritting her teeth, she tried moving her arms to alleviate the pressure. Akio chuckled at her struggle. 1. Haruka squeezed out painfully. Akio was confused before she felt it, incredible fatigue. What? Her arms slackened and her vision started to darken. Poison. When Haruka was released from the tight hold, breathing heavily. Her sweater flipped up slightly, allowing everyone to see a belt full of vials. The vials were filled with all sorts of liquids and some looked empty. Damn it. Akio got out before her head hit the floor, unconscious. Haruka wins. Rin didn't even know why she was surprised over these matches. Naruto and Hikage had the skill or physical ability, while Haruka was malicious with her thinking. Using a potential chemical to knock out an opponent was something Rin didn't expect despite training her on and off for a while. Reo merely sighed, all the third years lost to mere teenagers not even assigned classes yet. Pinching the bridge of his nose, he looked over to Rin, waiting for her assessment so he could agree or refuse. Rin eyed the blonde girl who held her ribs painfully. It seems that Hold did more than she expected. Turning to Reo, she assessed the students. Reo-sama, despite the third years holding out on using their full skills, these three exhibited skills that are beyond our regular students. Despite the length of the matches being rather short, it'd be ill-advised to put them through rudimentary courses. Rudimentary courses were for students who didn't even know the first thing about fighting. Reo sighed for what felt like the 100th time today before nodding slowly. Yes, I suppose you're right. They'll still need to learn history and such, but for the time being. He looked the woman in her red eyes. You will be their main teacher. Until you find more students who are worthy of an elite such as yourself, only those 3 will be in your care. I hope Dogen is alright with this choice. He mentally fumed. Rin bowed lowly, her bust threatening to pop out of her low-cut shirt. Understood Reo-sama. The man grunted at her response before looking to his still silent daughter and her friend. Miyabi. Her eyes searched for her father's quickly, noticing the strict tone. Report to my office, bring Amu as well. The girls looked at each other before eyeing the group of new students. They bowed to Reo and exited the area quickly. Suzun, make sure Akio is returned to her dorm after she's cleared of whatever poison or gas was used on her. The white-haired man didn't wait for her to respond, rather he locked eyes with Naruto. His whiskered face scrunched in confusion, he didn't even get to ask what Reo wanted before the man disappeared. Naruto shook his head before approaching Heruka. Hikage reluctantly followed. Great job Heruka-chan, that was so sneaky. Just like a shinobi Yano. Are you alright? He noticed her eyes were shutting in pain as she gave a crooked smile. Ah, I'm okay. She definitely bruised my ribs, but it was worth it in the end. Who knew odorless knockout gas could be so effective? She gave a chilling grin. I definitely need a warm bath after that though, my body's sore. She looked to Naruto like a predator would to their prey. Before you all leave, I have to congratulate you on your wins. Don't get cocky though, these 3 girls were not using their transformations, severely limiting their capability. Besides Miyabi, the others also did not go for killing blows. I'll repeat it again, do not become arrogant over a simple spar. Rin lectured them, easily carrying the muscled girl in her arms. The 3 teens nodded to show they understood. Good. Report back here tomorrow at 8 in the morning. I'll tell you where you'll be placed. With those words, Rin was gone the same way as Reo. Phew. Well, that was fun. Right, girls? Naruto looked at the 2 silent busty shinobi to be. Pretty ass huh? Hikage mumbled. Era. Why did you call Miyabi-sans ass pretty Naruto-kun? Haruka agreed with Hikage. She scanned his body with a strange smile. Why Naru? Hikage's eyes practically glowed. Single quote. Kurum. No, you're on your own here. The Biju interrupted the plea. Single quote. Ka-chan help me. Naruto cried out as both Hikage and Haruka got close to him. Is it strange that I'd rather fight multiple Uchiha than deal with the absurdity of this world? Kurama pondered mentally. Naruto's scream ran throughout his own mind. Faye, I doubt all these shinobi combined are even worth 2 tails of my glorious chakra. Kurama boasted to itself, ignoring Naruto's pled for help. I wonder what Gyuki would do in this world. Or Shukaku. Naruto wouldn't be receiving any help from Kurama for the time being. Hanzo-sama. A rather smooth voice spoke to the back of a large leather chair. I've come with a special report. The man mulled over the word choice for a second. The occupant of the chair responded, staring out at the setting sun while occasionally smoking on a small pipe. It pertains to Hebiho, Hanzo-sama. The chair turned at the man's words, allowing the kneeled male to look at the one man he respects most. Hanzo was a unique individual. His graying hair pulled into a high ponytail and long facial hair didn't distract from the obvious muscled form of his body. Various aging lines and scars adorned his face, making his appearance look almost battle-hardened. Clad in a black and brown kimono, his arms were clearly seen, the muscle definition showing years of experience and training. His eyes, the same color as his hair, sought out the man's auburn ones as he smoked slowly on his pipe. Releasing the pipe, he spoke in a voice that despite its age demanded respect. Oh, what's Reo-sama? Up to now, Korea. He addressed the kneeling man, now known as Korea. The man was wearing a rather sharp black suit, the picture-perfect image of a distinguished gentleman. His hair color was shared with Hanzo's, yet instead of the older man's unique ponytail style, Korea's gray wavy hair was barely shoulder length. Despite being 40 years of age, Korea still appeared handsome with his chiseled facial features. Shinobi from Hanzo Academy were in Shinjuku returning from a mission when they claimed 3 figures were entering the old castle keep ruins. Korea trailed off waiting to see if Hanzo picked up on the implication. I see, and did they figure out what those ruins actually were? Hanzo asked with a small amused smile. No Hanzo-sama. They were put on edge considering the group entered through the back. As their mission was completed, they decided to scout for potential dangers to the public, yet when they approached the back of the ruins, they found nothing. Korea sternly replied. Good. It's better that they decided against pursuing their search. Hanzo leaned back and smoked the pipe, the small smile still on his face. May I speak freely, Hanzo-sama? Korea asked respectfully, watching as Hanzo motioned with a hand gesture, signaling, go ahead. Clearing his throat slightly, Korea continued. Despite you knowing the location of one evil shinobi school, you insist on doing nothing to potentially eliminate the threat. Korea's voice was tinged with confusion. The threat, huh? Hanzo hummed to himself as Korea began speaking again. Would you consider bringing this up to the board of Hanzo Academy? To potentially prepare the students to destroy them from their roots. Hanzo sat up a bit straighter. No, he firmly stated. Auburn eyes blinked quickly at the fast answer. I will not be informing the so-called higher-ups of the school's location. Why Hanzo-sama? All Korea got in return was another smile. Yes. Why indeed Korea? The younger gray-haired man wrinkled his brow in confusion at the powerful shinobi's statement. But do tell me about what group was entering. Perhaps some new beauties. The old man's face morphed into a lecherous smile. Korea, used to the monk's perverted attitude, shook his head much to Hanzo's confusion. There were indeed 2 females. Yet a male was present. He was confirmed not to be Reo. In fact, our shinobi claimed he was around the age of a student. Korea replied slowly. Quote. A boy. Male shinobi were quite obviously real, but Hebiho in all their hidden glory was an all-girls academy. Numerous spies and reports over the years that directly spoke to Hanzo never mentioned a male besides the principal and investors. Yes, Hanzo-sama. A third year reported his hair was blonde as the sun and had cute whisker markings on his face. Korea managed to say that seriously. Hanzo had to give him credit. This is very interesting, you know. Hanzo brought the pipe up to lips again. Korea watched in silence, waiting for the great shinobi to break the tension. A male in Hebiho. Never thought I'd live to see the day. Hanzo banged a fist on the desk suddenly, making a Korea tense his body slightly. Damn it. The little bastard is living my dream. Hanzo cursed lowly. Korea closed his eyes with a sigh. The older man placed his back against the chair, still mumbling curses. They suddenly ceased as a serious look took over his visage. Korea. That sickly energy from the other night. You don't think that has anything to do with a potential unknown entering an all-girls academy? Hanzo's intelligent gray eyes clashed with the other man's. I cannot say for sure, Hanzo-sama. This boy was reported to be young, probably around the age of my 2 students. I doubt he was capable of producing energy comparably to Kagura-level shinobi. Hanzo stroked his beard idly. This whole situation had him very interested, something this big hasn't come up in years. He looked at the picture of a young teenager on his desk, a cute brown-haired girl who would only grow more beautiful. His granddaughter, Asuka. Well, I suppose we will have to wait and see what happens in the future. I feel like life is going to be a lot more interesting for these old bones, right, Korea? I suppose so, Hanzo-sama. Still eyeing the picture of his granddaughter, Hanzo spoke once more. Asuka-chan will be in your care for the future, Korea. She's my pride and joy, you know. The man's eyes were practically glowing. Oh, she's looking more and more like her grandmother every day. My wife was quite the looker, hee. Oh, of course, Hanzo-sama. Korea watched as his idol questionably laughed. Will that be all, Hanzo-sama? The higher-ups need me for a meeting. Apparently it's to discuss the energy output from the other night. Hanzo waved the man off. Meh. Go enjoy those boring old fools. Hanzo's eyes hardened. Korea, I trust you never will disclose any information that we share in our meetings. He watched the gray-haired man fiercely look up. Never, Hanzo-sama. The legendary shinobi smiled at Korea's response. Despite the man's cold exterior and harshness towards other shinobi, he was loyal. Very well, you may leave. With another movement of his hand, Korea vanished. Hanzo swiveled in his chair, observing the setting sun from his comfortable position. Energy similar to a Yomi released in the middle of the night, and now a teenage boy in a girls' academy. Reo must be playing a dangerous game. The old man placed his fist against his cheek. Closing his eyes, he suppressed more curses. Why the hell does this brat get to be around beautiful girls all day? Hanzo was very jealous. You know, I'm sure a lot of boys your age would jealous of your position right now. Kurama spoke, the deep voice ringing throughout Naruto's head. All I feel is embarrassed, Kurama. I'm standing here in a towel and all these girls are staring. Naruto gulped as his blue eyes searched the community bath. It was a spacious room. Luckily there were showers located in the back, meaning he wouldn't have to sit directly in with the girls to bathe. Hikage stood very close next to Naruto, her own white towel pulled against her pale body. She glared slightly at the other occupants of the room. She did not like this. Haruka looked radiant, smiling without a care in the world, her body already on full display. She didn't care about the other girls, her focus was on Naruto, who had his towel wrapped around his waist. She liked what she was seeing, especially the strange tattoo. Naru, let's go to the showers now. Hikage sternly told him, as sternly as one could be with Hikage's bored voice. She was no longer upset about Naruto calling another girl's ass pretty, she had more important things to worry about. For example, all these girls staring at Naruto like he was a piece of meat. Naruto looked at Hikage, nodding his head rapidly. Every girl in the room was locked onto him, various emotions in their eyes. Confusion and wonder were equally present. And lust. Well, Kurama wasn't wrong. Seems these all-girl shinobi schools have a big downfall, huh? You'd think they'd be prepared for a male. They have no issue showing their pathetic bodies to their own gender. Kurama couldn't understand the mind of females, let alone teenagers. The Biju didn't care to try either. Naruto didn't respond. Instead, he kept his gaze on Hikage's eyes. He tried looking to Heruka, but her naked state made him turn quickly. Naruto-kun, would you like to wash my back? I'll return the favor, of course. Heruka stood in front of him now with her hands on her hips. Her head tilted curiously in a pose that she deemed cute. The question wasn't fully sexual, surprisingly. She read a lot of books when she was home. Apparently friends helped each other with things like this. They were questionable books. Naruto gave her a weak smile as he felt Hikage begin to pull on his hand. Kurama snickered in his mind, sensing the green-haired girl's jealousy. Sorry, Haruka-chan. Maybe some other time. That was the wrong response as Hikage gave a rather vicious tug of his hand, almost making him lose his balance in the slippery room. Hikage-chan, wait. Naruto felt his face contort in fear. His towel. He felt cold. You provide far more entertainment for me than any shinobi war could. The snarky comment was unwarranted. Naruto grabbed Hikage and kicked it into high gear, jumping to the showers while holding her to the front of his body. She blinked owlishly at his actions. He ignored the catcalls and whistles from the other girls in the room. He didn't even want to see Haruka's reaction. If he looked back, he would see the bright red blush on Haruka's face and the tint of something dangerous in her eyes. Getting into an average-sized shower stall, Naruto made sure to press his back against the wall, Hikage now standing in front of him silently. She ran her eyes over his form, watching him shiver in fear. Tracing her eyes down his chest, she rose an eyebrow at the lack of towel before narrowing them dangerously. Did they see it? Her voice had an edge to it. Naruto shook his head slowly. No, I used you for cover. I hope. Hikage nodded her head approvingly. Good. I'd have to kill all those girls if they did. With that, she began to turn the shower on, turning away from Naruto. The whiskered boy looked shocked at her words. Hubby-chan. That's a joke, right? Ha ha. Ha ha. Hikage responded back with absolutely no feeling. Naruto looked up at the tiled ceiling, listening to the running water and chatter of the girls. Kurama, did I have to deal with this before? No. If it makes you feel better, your first kiss was with a boy. Kurama couldn't hold the grin back at Naruto's shout of despair. The whole situation with the community bath was over, at least for today. After they bathed, Haruka joined Hikage and Naruto to grab dinner at the school's main cafeteria. Many insults and barbs were exchanged between the girls, and it wasn't long before they bid Haruka goodnight. Well, Naruto did. Hikage just stared at her. Getting into their shared bed, Hikage fell asleep before him, passed out on top of him. She did mention being sore in the shower. Probably from the hits she took from Imu's staff. Naruto, we need to talk. The fox's voice rumbled to him. I know, Kurama, I have a ton of questions. Closing his eyes, Naruto felt a pull before he felt like he was falling. Damn it, Kurama. Naruto whined as he laid on his back in ankle-deep water. He was back in the seal. Hey. Naruto looked up to eye the huge fox sitting in front of him. Red eyes lit up the damp corridor. It took me a while, but I was able to sort through your memories here. Kurama said, leaning closer to Naruto. Raising an eyebrow, Naruto sat on the somewhat cold ground, waiting patiently for Kurama to continue. When the fox continued to eye him, Naruto felt like he was being judged. And what about them? Kurama leaned back at his question. You're weak. The reply was blunt and made Naruto's right eye twitch in irritation. You were able to take me on, the greatest of all Biju, with that damned toad mode, but now you can't even summon your own chakra. That needs to change. Kurama eyed its Jinchuriki, knowing Naruto was insulted by the claim. Wait, toad mode. Did I turn into a toad? Naruto's face turned slightly green at the thought. Yeah, toads were cool and all, but he didn't want to be one. Kurama eyed him with amusement before shaking its large head in the negative. No, it was another power of yours. Taking in natural energy from the world around you and mixing it with your own chakra resulted in something quite powerful. Kurama didn't enjoy complimenting the toads on anything. Why would Naruto need stupid toad senjutsu? He had the strongest Biju. When I use my chakra, can I use this toad mode? Naruto looked a bit excited. If he was able to defeat Kurama with that, who could stop him? Two things, brat. 1, we can't call it toad mode. It may be funny, but that sounds stupid. Its proper name is sage mode. 2, don't get excited. I have some bad news about the natural energy here, but back to my main point. Kurama pointed its large hand directly at Naruto. We need you to start using chakra. Being dormant for so long, and you lacking previous knowledge. I fear for your chakra control. It made Kurama uneasy. All these years without using it actively wasn't something the Biju had experience with. After all, Kurama is a mass of chakra. It's not my fault I haven't used it, know. I had no idea you even existed until I woke up here. Naruto crossed his arms over his chest, Hikage's necklace swinging with his movement. I know. I can't blame you, we both don't know about what circumstances brought us here. I'm beginning to think we never will. Kurama growled out. Naruto looked a bit worried at the tailed beast's words. Hey Kurama, do you want to return to wherever we came from? Blue eyes bore into red. You are my partner Naruto. You're the first person besides my father that I've given a damn about. I'll stick with you until the end. Kurama watched as Naruto gave a bashful smile, rubbing at the back of his neck. It's not about what I want, brat. Once you remember that Otsutsuki, I don't know what you'll do. The Kyuubi knew Naruto was already attached to this world, specifically the snake girl, but it's so cool that my partner is a gigantic fox. You're an asshole, but you do look cool, Kurama. Naruto had a mischievous grin cross his features. Kurama snorted, abandoning any negative thoughts. Whatever. Now before you ask me more questions, we need to start on getting you used to chakra again. The beast's tone became serious. Meditation will be key here. Do not complain, Naruto. I want you to start by trying to pull out your chakra. This will all be done in the seal until you're confident enough to not burst a huge amount out and alert every shinobi in the world. Kurama knew how potent Naruto's chakra was. Chakra was usually not visible to the naked eye, but his was. Even when Naruto was young, he was able to push large amounts through his body. Naruto's face was also considerably more serious now. Alright. Ka-chan showed me how to meditate despite her unique comments on it. What am I searching for? Kurama closed its eyes seemingly in thought, but in reality the tailed beast was sorting through Naruto's older memories. Kurama never needed to unlock chakra, so the process was reliant on Naruto's past. I know you've felt something flowing throughout your body at times, Naruto. Sit still and focus on dragging that to the surface. Focus on pushing it towards your seal, it will make the process easier if I can interfere with your own chakra. In the past, Kurama would have longed for the opportunity to interfere with Naruto's chakra. Just like when I messed with the old toad trying to synchronize with him. Now, the Biju's priority was helping its only true friend. Sit the same way I do, you won't be able to draw in natural energy, but it should feel familiar to you. Kurama mimicked the form Naruto would take when focusing on his senjutsu. Eyeing the Biju curiously, Naruto copied its actions fluidly. Relaxing his body, Naruto focused intensely. Banishing thoughts from his mind that didn't pertain to sorting out his chakra. Inhaling and exhaling with perfect precision, Kurama eyed the boy. Despite becoming younger and weaker in a sense, Naruto's body was still engraved with the knowledge of his past. Pure instincts and muscle memory were crucial, but Kurama wanted him to understand what he was doing, and to not simply win every fight by instinct alone. The Biju rested its head on the ground, gaze locked onto Naruto's relaxed body. Kurama eyed the necklace around his neck. I can't help but feel bad for the Hyuga. She must have been cursed with bad luck, poor girl. It was true, Kurama was aware of its host's struggle with emotions towards Hinata. In the end though, it seems that wasn't meant to be. Kurama had no idea if they were in the same world, different time or dimension. The Biju felt the other tailed beast's chakra still clinging to Naruto's, though Kurama was unable to sense them fully. It was like they didn't exist. Sighing internally, Kurama continued to watch Naruto, hoping for positive results. For what felt like an eternity to the tailed beast, Kurama sat and observed. The only sound was from their combined breathing. That's when Naruto's face tightened, he opened his mouth to reveal gritted teeth. With a small yell of struggle, it happened. Kurama's dark smile was in full effect, feeling the familiar warm chakra of Naruto's roll over its form. Just as the spike occurred, it stopped suddenly. Naruto shot to his feet, opening and closing his hands repeatedly. The seal on his navel was practically glowing. Congratulations, brat, you're now at the level of your 12-year-old self. Those words made Naruto face plant into the murky water beneath him. Kurama watched him rise up and tighten his fist. Hey, you say that like it's a bad thing. Wasn't I a shinobi? Naruto shouted at the Biju who began to scratch at its long ears. You were a little runt. You still are, although you have a bit more common sense now. Seeing Naruto about to argue more, Kurama stuck his fist out again. Try to synchronize your chakra with mine now. Do the same thing you did before, but instead of focusing on the seal, push the energy into your closed hand. Pushing his own fist against the larger one, Naruto followed Kurama's directions. The second their fists connected, the same explosion of chakra occurred from the night before. This time, Naruto's radiant chakra was wildly spinning, attempting to mix with Kurama's. Naruto had his eyes closed. In focus, Kurama watched him carefully. Naruto! Naruto! Kurama shouted, seeing his whiskered face tighten in pain. Yanking the fist back, Kurama watched as Naruto fell to a knee in the mindscape. Naruto's eyelids were closed, but that didn't stop the influx of memories. He heard no sound, only flashes of images zoomed past him. All of it was similar to his dreams and nightmares. However, these were vivid, he got clear images of people or places. His eyes began to tear up, yet he didn't know why. Despite not being able to hear what these people were saying to him, he felt everything. Foreign emotions invaded his body as he let out a gasp, holding his head in pain. Splash! A loud impact in the water echoed throughout his mind. The distraction proved to be enough. Opening his eyes, Naruto was greeted to the sight of Kurama's tails twitching in agitation. Kurama, what happened? The tailed beast looked almost upset. Naruto honestly couldn't tell. It seems we still can't sync even with you actively channeling chakra. Resisting the urge to growl, Kurama continued. The sudden pressure from you seeing flashes of memories is too much right now. My chakra isn't meant to be taken lightly, Naruto, and your body isn't the same as it once was. I won't let you be in pain over something like this. Kurama lowered to look Naruto in the eye. As long as I'm here, your memories will never be lost, Naruto. Letting out a shaky breath, Naruto gave Kurama his best smile. I'll count on you then, Kurama. I'll train every day to make my body stronger. I'll need your help with everything pertaining to chakra. Naruto sat down, ignoring the water. It's not a simple process, Naruto. You won't be back to full strength for some time. Just know that if problems arise, and you find your own chakra isn't enough, mine will be there to help. Making another fist, Kurama waited for Naruto again. This time no chakra was channeled between them, it was just their form of affection. Grinning softly, Naruto placed his own fist against Kurama's and gave a small laugh. Kurama couldn't help following after, chuckling alongside him. They weren't sure what they were laughing at and Naruto felt safe. Those memories and emotions made him feel hopeless, but Kurama anchored him back to reality. He was extremely happy to have the so-called strongest of the Biju as his partner. Hey Kurama, start telling me about, well, me, and you. Dropping to the floor alongside Naruto, Kurama stared at him with various emotions brewing. It all started on October 10th. The day you were born, Naruto. For what must have been hours, the two sat and talked in the strange corridor of Naruto's seal. Naruto laughed, he cried and even insulted Kurama at times. It was more akin to having someone tell you a story than to think of it as your own life. Naruto didn't care. Everything Kurama said, every bizarre scenario and fight, Naruto knew it was all real. Oh, there was that time you agreed to impregnate a priestess to ensure her power is passed on. What, Kurama, do I have kids? They were perfect partners. Hikage's yellow eyes slowly opened, raising her hands to rub at them. She was tense when she noticed the room they were in. That tense feeling dropped when the events from yesterday hit her. They weren't home anymore. They were in Hebiho now. It would be their second home for a couple more years. Sitting up, Hikage looked at the clock. They still had an hour or so till Suzun sensei wanted them to meet up. Snapping her attention back to the warm body below her, Hikage nuzzled closer to him. Inhaling his scent, as she never broke that habit over the years, she merely watched him. He looks happy. It's been quite some time since Hikage has seen Naruto smiling in his sleep. Yet here he was, the upwards curve of his lips showing how good he must be feeling right now. Eyeing his lips some more, Hikage debated on putting her own against his. She enjoyed that quite a bit. Rubbing her neck, she looked at the small bruise-like markings on it. They weren't from Imu's staff, no, they were from Naruto. Love bites. She vaguely remembered hearing that term. Her face flushed slightly, remembering how he turned the tables on their little fight yesterday. After their mother's talk years ago, Hikage has always been curious to do things with Naruto. After all, they loved each other, right? This was to be expected. They didn't go all the way, as Hinata called it, but Hikage did plan on it in the future. Feeling Naruto begin to shift, she knew he was waking up. They did sleep rather early the night before. Hikage, naked of course, sat up on his chest again, waiting for his reaction. Naruto woke up with a smile on his features. His talk with Kurama was interesting, to put it lightly. The Biju revealed a lot to him, things that seemed impossible, things that were sad and things that brought him joy despite his lost memory. Kurama told him about his birth, his parents and basic history of the shinobi world he came from. Naruto was fascinated by all of it, inquiring about people he knew and events he went through. Yes, it felt good to hear about his past, but Naruto felt he couldn't truly connect to it. His memory of living that life was broken up, it truly felt like a story. Maybe in the future when he can recall such memories on his own, he would reflect on them clearly. Perhaps the most important thing Naruto got from his talk with Kurama was his name. Uzumaki. Hinata never had a last name, neither did Hikage. They were orphans who were never actually adopted, officially at least. Naruto wished his mother of this world actually did have a name to pass on, he would scream it out with pride. However, he supposed Uzumaki fit him perfectly. Repeating the name in his head, Naruto finally opened his eyes fully, the smile still present. Kurama was silent, finally taking a nap after the long conversation and previous night. Deadpanning at the sight of Hikage's bare chest directly in his view, Naruto let his eyes roam over her body. He blushed slightly at the marks on her neck, knowing he was the cause of those. The red mark on her stomach and kneecap made him a bit angry though, it seems Imu's staff actually left an impression. Good morning hubby-chan. Naruto grabbed her fast, pulling her down for a hug, uncaring of her state. Hikage blinked a few times, it seemed Naruto was in a good mood. Good morning Naru. You seem happy. Naruto bobbed his head excitedly. Yup. Kurama told me a lot last night. Don't worry, I'll share everything I know with you. Hikage broke the hug with him, confusing Naruto. Did Kurama tell you about your home? Hikage struggled to say it. She felt a sharp pain in her heart thinking about Naruto's circumstance. Hikage always wanted the best for him, but if finding out about his past life would make him leave her. She didn't know what to do. Was she allowed to be selfish? Eyeing her worried form, Naruto put his hands on her waist, making her freeze at the sensation of his warm hands. Hikage, I know you're worried about me leaving you. I promised you didn't I? I'll always be there for you. Besides Kurama doesn't even know how we can return to where we came from. He rubbed her sides consolingly, making her shiver slightly with pleasure. The small frown was still present on her face. Bringing his hands up to her face, Naruto pushed the sides of her mouth up slightly, trying to force a smile. Hubby-chan. Yes, I had a home before this, but you're important to me. You know I never go back on my promises. Stopping his hands from pushing her mouth up more, Hikage's expression finally changed to one Naruto wanted to see. The small tug of her lips was more than enough him, he grinned brightly when she spoke. I expect you to tell me everything then. We still have an hour before meeting Suzun-sensei. Hikage leaned closer to his face, her long tongue darting out of her mouth. Naruto watched with his usual embarrassed expression before he smirked. Hikage usually got him embarrassed so easily, he wanted to get revenge. Using dexterity that he wasn't even sure he had, Naruto flipped their positions expertly. Hikage's eyes were wide as she looked at the smirking visage of Naruto. Straddling her now, Naruto watched her shocked face slowly reddening. Trailing his hands up her sides, he watched the girl bite her lip slightly as he neared her breasts. Good morning Naruto-kun. The shared room's door slammed open with a bang. Haruka stood in the entrance, wearing a simple tank top and pink shorts. Her bust was clearly too big for her sleep attire. She's not wearing a bra. Naruto noticed. He was still frozen in place on top of an annoyed Hikage. Oh, Haruka tilted her head slightly with closed eyes. I'm not interrupting anything am I? It was asked so innocently that Naruto bought it. Hikage on the other hand, well she wasn't happy. No, I was just checking to make sure Hikage-chan was alright. She felt warm and she might have a fever. He got off the bed, not even recognizing the fact that he only had his pair of boxers on. I see, you're a very caring person Naruto-kun. Haruka smiled gently at him, the compliment was genuine. I hope when I'm sick you'll do the same for me. Keeping her eyes locked onto his own, Naruto felt he had to respond. Yeah anytime. I don't mean I want you to be sick or anything but. He looked at the ground slightly, now he sounded lame. I understand Naruto-kun. I'm terribly sorry for disturbing you. She gave Hikage a small smirk when she knew Naruto wasn't looking. The emotionless look she received back made her smirk widen. It's okay Haruka-chan. We were going to get ready soon to meet Suzun-sensei. Want to walk together again? He knew they were interrupted by Haruka, but she was his friend. Besides Hikage and now Kurama, he had no one else. Yes, I'd love that. Her pleasant smile made his face flush a bit, it didn't help that her sleep attire was rather tight on her. I'll wait for you outside in half an hour okay? Seeing Naruto agree, Haruka gave a small bow, somehow she held back the smug look she desperately wanted to shoot Hikage. Hikage watched as the doll girl shut the room door gently. She felt a foreign emotion bubbling up inside of her again. Unlike when she was crying over Hinata or the constant love she feels for Naruto. Hikage never felt something quite like this. Her fists tightened involuntarily. Who does she think she is? Naruto is mine. That doll keeps trying to interfere. A sadistic smile appeared on her face, making Naruto watch her with caution. I'll deal with her eventually. Hikage was quite possessive. Hikage-chan, you okay? Naruto asked her despite the feeling of dread that accompanied the question. I hate her Naruto. Her words were delivered in her usual tone, and Naruto frowned slightly. Hate, really? I know you and Haruka don't get along hubby-chan. He looked away from her gaze, sighing sadly. Do you not want me to talk to her anymore? Naruto didn't want that to happen, but he loved Hikage and never enjoyed making her upset. Hikage looked at the ceiling for a couple seconds, thinking about how Naruto sounded. She knew he always wanted friends, she loved him too much to take friends away from him. Yes, Haruka was an annoyance, though Hikage would put up with it. For Naruto's sake. No, Naru. I'd never do that to you. I may not like how she acts, but that's your friend. Hikage watched Naruto's face brighten considerably at her words. Naruto went closer to her, getting in her face and staring deeply into her eyes. Thanks, hubby-chan. Who knows, maybe you'll be friends with her in the future. Her face was blank at his words. Yeah, that's not happening. Hikage thought to herself before slamming her lips into Naruto's, knocking them both off the bed and onto the wooden floor. They still had half an hour. Rin waited impatiently, tapping her heeled shoes on the ground. It was 8:30 now, they were late. She was about to leave and search for the annoying brats before the door burst open again. Naruto, rudely opening the doors with two girls trailing him. Yo, Suzun-sensei. He threw his hand up, giving a nonchalant wave. Hikage eyed her with her blank features and Heruka was smiling at Naruto's antics. You're all late. Why? Rin inquired with a cold voice. Seeing Naruto struggle to come up with an answer, Heruka stepped in quickly. Suzun-sensei, Hikage-san wasn't feeling too well this morning. Naruto-kun was helping her get out of bed, resulting in them being late. Since they are my classmates, I stood around to help them. I apologize. The girl bowed quickly. Naruto and Hikage both looked surprised at her. Not expecting her to cover for their lateness, especially since the reason was not as appropriate as helping with sickness. We are a shinobi school. These excuses may work in the normal education system, but not here. See that it doesn't happen again. Her clipped tone made them all nod. Looking down to the bag by her feet, Rin noticed they all followed her gaze. Here, she reached into the bag and withdrew two uniforms, female uniforms. They were the same design as Miyabi's. Short red and black skirts, same color tops with a small tie. Normal brown flat shoes were included in the bundle of clothing. The infinity symbol of Hebiho was proudly displayed on the collar. Throwing them to the two girls, they caught them easily, eyeing them with curiosity. You are required to wear the uniform during lessons and training. Once you learn to transform, you can select whatever outfit you'd like for that. I don't care, she coldly commented. Turning to the bewildered Naruto, she rose an eyebrow at his open-mouthed expression. Suzun-sensei, you're not going to make me wear that, right? I'll leave right now. He was cut off by a different uniform being thrown at him. Looking at it, the clothing was rather plain. A short-sleeved button-up shirt and tie, sharing the same colors as the girls. Symbol included on the color. His pants were also unsurprisingly black. Brown shoes accompanied the drab look. Thanks, Suzun-sensei. At least I don't have to wear a skirt. He shot his teacher a shaky smile. That'd be interesting to see though, right, Hikage-san? Haruka commented to the girl standing next to her. Strangely, Hikage looked intrigued. Change into those. Then I'll explain your curriculum and training. Rin crossed her arms under her bust. Okay, we will be right back. Naruto got cut off again by Rin's raised hand. Here, change now. We don't have time for you to return to your rooms. Her eyes snapped to his quickly. He blushed a bit. Stripping in front of Hikage was different, but an older woman. Turning back to Hikage and Haruka, he was going to tell them he'll search for a secluded place in the training room. Seriously, he watched with a dry look as Hikage and Haruka already began pulling off their clothing. The cough from Suzun-sensei told him he should get to it quickly. The woman was staring right at his head, almost daring him to complain again. Suzun-sensei sure is scary. He mumbled as he stripped down to his boxers. Rin's lips twitched for a second at his whisper. Pulling on the clothes he deemed as boring, Naruto struggled with the weird tie around his neck. Not enjoying the feeling of that or the rather tight pants. Despite the tightness, the actual material felt like it could rip easily. Era, do you need help with the tie, Naruto-kun? A sweet voice asked, making him turn to see Haruka and Hikage were already changed. He almost choked on his own saliva at the school uniforms hugging their forms. The skirts were so short that a small breeze would definitely expose their panties. Naruto mentally let out a sigh of relief at it being an all-girls school. He didn't want any guys seeing Hikage's panties. No, Haruka-chan, I got it. He fussed with the tie some more before finally settling down. Suzun didn't seem amused at his struggle with the clothing. Although the teacher noticed the makeshift sheath on his legs for his knives. Hikage eyed his form from head to toe. The outfit was quite tight on him, not that she was going to complain. Now that uniforms are out of the way, it's time to explain the situation. Rin's voice became cold. You will be a part of an elite class. I will be your primary teacher. You will be with other first-year students for basic shinobi history, but when it comes to training and advanced studies, you will be with me. She watched Naruto grin with pride over elite status. Nice. Elites, huh? He was about to boast some more before Rin killed the mood. Only in name. I want you to understand again that those girls yesterday did not go all out in any capacity. Naruto, you pinned Miyabi down for a few seconds, you did not incapacitate her. Don't let these victories go to your head. They didn't access any shinobi arts or transformations. It was good to be confident in one's ability, but Rin wanted to prevent them from becoming arrogant. She may have been forced into a teaching position, though that did not mean she'd them die for stupidity. Also, seeing how Miyabi stormed out of her father's office, Naruto would have a bigger issue to deal with. I know Suzun-sensei. If I didn't dodge her sword perfectly, she might have killed me. Naruto knew that it'd be a different story if she was going all out. He also wasn't planning to call on Kurama's chakra to fight right now. The Kyuubi explained that he's an unknown in this world, and it's a lot bigger than their home. There's more individuals behind the scenes plotting, and no amount of brute force would prevent him from not attracting trouble. Rin was glad he understood. Nodding at him, she addressed the group as a whole. I'll escort you to your classroom for history today. Mornings will be taken up by regular studies, afternoons and beyond will be with me. Seeing that none of them had any questions, she led the group out of their training room and around the academy campus. All the students watched them walk. To his credit, Naruto didn't get as embarrassed at their comments. Being seen naked by a lot of girls in his building helped him get past that. Kurama was right. What's happening to me? Naruto recognized how absurd everything was lately. A shinobi school, a giant fox, chakra, his memories. It all made him miss the simple days of being with Hinata. His eyes closed as they walked to the classrooms, thinking about what his mother's reaction would be to being in a shinobi school. It's only been 2 days really, but his heart hurt over Hinata. His eyes briefly flashed red, his anger towards Hinata's killer was getting to him. Rin stopped walking as she felt a weird sensation overtake her. She turned quickly, eyeing the group. Everything seemed alright besides their confused eyes, but she knew she felt something. What was that? It didn't feel as strong as that energy the other night, but still. She was suspicious now. Turning again, she withheld a comment to the trio, who turned to each other and shrugged. Stopping in front of a classroom, Rin gestured to the room in front of them. Here we are. Class should end in 2 hours. You're going to have to catch up to the other students, but I'll think you'll all manage. Good luck. Rin began her exit, heels clicking against the wooden floors loudly. The group stood there awkwardly. Naruto gave a weak grin as he pointed to the door. Ladies first. Both Hikage and Heruka pushed him into the room. Ah, damn it. He swore as he almost tripped on the way in. The classroom was silent as he fixed his balance. The teacher, a brunette with a more mature version of the school uniform, was standing in front of the room. She rose an eyebrow at Naruto. The students were staring wide-eyed at the boy who entered. Fixing himself, Naruto looked up, eyeing the room quickly. I don't know why I expected anything different. Of course it's all girls. He smiled slightly at the woman teaching. And you are. The brunette trailed off, waiting for him to speak. Oh, I'm Naruto. This is Hikage and Haruka. He gestured to the silent girls behind him. Suzun-sensei directed us here. The woman's eyes lit up in understanding. She hummed to herself, looking Naruto up and down before pointing her hand to the back of the room. Go take the available seats in the back. I don't want any trouble out of you three. Her tone was clipped. Naruto thought she was doing an awful Suzun-sensei impression. Naruto grabbed Hikage and Haruka's hands quickly, making a beeline for the back of the room. Hikage deadpanned at his actions, not liking the other hand he grabbed. Haruka was wide-eyed. It's just like when he grabbed my hand at the park. She blushed, remembering that day fondly. Sitting in the middle of Hikage and Haruka, Naruto waved slightly at all the girls following his movements. They were all around his age and looked shocked at his appearance. Do you think one of those girls is his girlfriend? Naruto heard one whisper. Look at that shirt. Do you think he picked a smaller size on purpose? His sweat dropped at the gossip. He reminds me of Miyabi-sama, they are both so manly. The blonde boy narrowed his eyes after hearing that one. Manly. They called Miyabi manly. He wasn't even paying attention to the teacher who became his lecturer. Why the hell did they call such a pretty girl manly? What the hell was he missing? Naruto was going to ask for Hikage and Haruka's opinion, but judging by their reaction to the comment he made about her ass, he decided against that. Letting out a sigh, Naruto accepted his fate and listened to the boring lectures. Man, I wish Kurama was awake right now. He actually missed that snarky asshole. Leaning against the desk, Naruto closed his eyes, just for a few seconds. Naruto-kun. Startled, Naruto woke up with a small jump. He took in his surroundings, a classroom. Okay. He fell asleep for a lot longer than he intended. Yawning, he tuned to see a smiling Haruka. She poked him lightly in the chest. You fell asleep. Class is about to end soon. I don't want sensei to yell at you. Oh, thank you, Haruka-chan. He wondered why Hikage didn't wake up before turning to his left. The green-haired girl was staring ahead, looking at nothing in particular. She spaced out again. Hikage was prone to doing that. You better snap her out of her daydreaming. Unless you want to spend some time alone with me, Naruto-kun. Haruka innocently asked, forgetting that they weren't alone at all. You'd like that, wouldn't you, doll girl? A deadpan voice whispered among their small group. Haruka's smile turned cold, while Naruto sighed. Here we go again, he thought with dread. Oh, did you say something, hubby-chan? Haruka mocked her slightly. Hikage didn't take the bait, she continued staring at the girl. Naruto began to feel uncomfortable and shook his head. Can't you both get along? Please. He looked at them pleadingly. It's her, not me, Naru. Don't lie to Naruto-kun. Kurama, wake up. All he heard over their connection was soft snores. The tailed beast peacefully sleeping after their long talk. Class dismissed. All of you report to your training for the afternoon. The woman in front of the room said professionally. She let her eyes linger on the back of the room before disappearing the same way as Suzun. As that speed, teleportation, Naruto's eyes narrowed in thought. His questioning was cut off as he felt Hikage begin to pull on him. His arm was being pulled into her soft chest. He heard Heruka let out a small curse before his right arm was also taken over. Come on, Naru. We have to get to Suzun-sensei. Hikage told him as she began to drag him from the desk. Heruka reluctantly followed the snake girl's words, they all needed to be at the same place after all. She did give a smug smile in retaliation of Hikage's glare over Naruto's arm placement. Her chest also happened to be a bit bigger than Hikage's, making her feel even better. Dragging Naruto through the campus, they noticed Suzun-sensei waiting at the entrance of the building, impatiently tapping her arm. Her ruby eyes narrowed on them as they approached. How was class? The purple-haired woman questioned. Haruka, being the only one to truly pay attention, decided to help the two again. Mainly for Naruto's sake. It went well. We went over different types of missions shinobi are meant to undertake according to the client. She also spoke of how we operate when good shinobi are around the same area. Personally, this information was nothing new, Suzun-sensei. We covered this months ago when we met. Haruka concluded with a calculating look, showing how intelligent she truly was. Rin was impressed slightly over how quick the girl was on picking things up. It seems her mother forcing her to study every day with no other positives in life affected her substantially. Naruto looked lost. Hikage. Looked like Hikage. Very good. Now, I'll be leading you all to a room designated for our use as elites. Today I'll be going over all applications of shinobi arts with you so we may start on physical training during the month. Rin told them as she began to walk, expecting them to follow obediently. They did, with Naruto still being trapped between two females glaring at each other. Keeping his eyes to the floor to avoid the stares and whispers of other students, he sneakily eyed Suzun. That skirt she wore, she had a nice butt as well. He kept his eyes focused on it for a little while before moving them elsewhere. He focused instead on the feeling of two pairs of breasts pushing into his arms. I bet there's some old pervert out there right now envying my position. Naruto thought, looking up at the sky. If only he knew. Dropping his head on the fancy table of their adequately dubbed shinobi room, Naruto blew out another tired sigh. Suzun-sensei totally fried his brain with a bunch of stuff that didn't make sense. Haruka and surprisingly Hikage seemed to grasp what she was talking about easily. Yin energy this, yang energy that. Shinobi tension used the latent energy blah blah blah. It wasn't as impressive as his chakra. You're lucky I was awake and paying attention for you. Lazy bastard. Kurama mumbled in his head. Kurama, you're awake. I missed you, buddy. Naruto called out before he felt the room spin. Blinking, Naruto realized Kurama pulled him into the seal again. Huh, what's wrong, Kurama? The Biju, who was still resting on the floor, opened one eye to look at Naruto. I don't know if you have this energy, Suzun talks about Naruto. Your body is brimming with chakra. I can't detect any anomalies or anything similar to what she was talking about. Seeing Naruto's disappointed look, Kurama kept talking. But, all of the things she described this yin and yang energy is capable of, can easily be replicated with chakra. You can fool these shinobi quite easily. Naruto's face changed quickly, his cheeky smile coming back. Yes, what about the transformation thingy? He asked curiously. Hey, as if you'd need a stupid scroll to transform. You have me. Kurama the. Naruto cut him off with a dry look. I probably can't transform with it, right? The boy eyed the deflated fox. Kurama was disappointed that Naruto stopped the best speech ever gifted to mortal ears. Sighing, the beast began to sit up. I'm going to be blunt with you. I don't know. Don't forget that we aren't from here, Naruto. I guess. Just try transferring your chakra into the scroll when she gives you it. Kurama was clueless here. You told me not to attract too much attention last night. He yelled to the towering Biju. I'm not saying destroy the damn thing. Apply the same chakra transfer I tried doing with you, except the conduit is the scroll. What's the worst thing that could happen? Kurama looked up in thought. You think it would explode? The Kyuubi let a fanged grin cross its features. Naruto's eyes twitched madly as he stood in front of Kurama. He felt a pull before he was back in the real world. Shaking his head, he looked up to see Suzun-sensei with a serious face. She was always serious, but this was extra serious. Naruto. Ryo-sama wants you to report to his office. You are to leave now. Huh, what did I do? I swear I wasn't sleeping in class. Suzun stared at his face before pointing to the door. Your escort is waiting outside to show you the way. Suzun turned to face the two worried girls. You two, I'll show you the basics of sealing objects into scrolls while Naruto is gone. They both agreed, but Hikage watched Naruto with a pit forming in her stomach. Grumbling to himself, Naruto stood up and brushed himself off. He threw Hikage and Heruka a small thumbs up before leaving the room. Where was his escort? Follow me. A somewhat deep female voice called to him. He knew that voice. Turning his head, he saw a familiar face, Miyabi. Her arms crossed under her chest and scowl firmly in place. Yo, what's up, Miyabi-chan? He gave her a slight smile, making her scoff. Do not address me so familiarly. We are not friends and never will be. She told him icily. Naruto looked a bit offended at her words. Oh. Sorry, Miyabi-san. She didn't respond, rather turning and heading down the long hallway. I told you, she's like an Uchiha. Disgusting creatures. Kurama spit out. Do you mean Uchiha or humans in general? Naruto followed after her, keeping his head down as he talked to Kurama. Yes. I'm human though, ya know. Humans pale in comparison to the magnificence of a Biju. That's funny coming from someone that I don't even know if they are a boy or girl. Naruto made Kurama sputter in shock. What? I'm a mass of chakra given form. A gender is irrelevant. You sound like a boy, Kurama. Naruto, pay attention, you almost walked right into her chest. Huh. Miyabi stood glaring at Naruto. He was only an inch or two shorter than her, but since his head was down while walking, he was on a course for full-on collision with her. She was stopped in front of a set of dark doors, her yellow eyes scornfully stared at him. Enter, she said with disdain. All right, thanks. He moved to open the doors but noticed she wasn't leaving. She picked up on his silent questioning. I was instructed to wait for you to ensure you familiarize yourself with the layout of the campus. The words were delivered with so little emotion that Hikage would be proud. Naruto scratched the back of neck, giving her one last look before entering the dark room. Walking slowly, he eyed the desk where Ryo sat. Unknown to Naruto, Kurama was also sitting up, ready to sense for lies and such. Naruto. The white-haired man looked up from various pieces of paperwork and eyed the teen in front of the desk. What's up, old man? The casual way he addressed him made Kurama let out a sigh. Naruto really had no tact. Naruto tensed up when he heard a laugh from the corner of the darker room. It didn't come from Ryo, obviously. Planting his feet firmly to the ground, Naruto didn't like the feeling in the air. That's when a figure revealed himself, making Naruto feel very cautious. He was a tall, sculpted man with an extremely muscular body that is apparent even with his clothing. He wears a formal attire consisting of a red coat with black fur trimming, waist-high pants of the same color, a white dress shirt, and a blue and green neckerchief. The man's blonde hair was paler than Naruto's and his beard shared the color. Naruto eyed the long scar going down his right eye. His eyes, one black and one white. They were quite special. The man's build was bigger than that rogue shinobi Naruto fought 2 nights ago. The amused look on his face held underlying meaning, something that Kurama couldn't even decipher. He's quite the funny one, isn't he, Ryo-san? The blonde man said to the principal. Miyabi's father was sitting up straight but nodded his head once. Yes, Dogen-sama, he lacks respect, though I'm sure that will change. Right, Naruto. It was worded as a question, but Naruto knew what the man was saying. The now named Dogen held up a hand and let out another laugh. No, it's quite alright. I'm around those stuffy politicians and such all day, it feels nice to talk to someone real. Dogen gestured to Naruto. Kurama. I can't sense anything negative coming from him. He feels off. Now, young Naruto, I didn't tell Ryo-san to call you here to punish you or anything, so don't be worried. The tall man gave Naruto what he deemed as an easygoing smile. I just wanted to meet you and let you in on our little plan. Naruto narrowed his eyes at those words, making Ryo sigh. What Dogen-sama is alluding to isn't anything malicious. You see, he is Hebijo's main benefactor. Most of the mission requests we receive are sent through him. When he heard of you joining the school, he was intrigued by the concept. Ryo spoke calmly. Indeed, a male, joining an all-female shinobi school. It's practically unheard of and made all of Hebijo's backers quite interested. Dogen spoke positively. This isn't good, Naruto. We won't be able to keep a low profile like this. Kurama deduced. Naruto remained silent, waiting for more information. Seeing Dogen smile again, Naruto remained tense. What I meant by plan is actually beneficial for both of us. You see, young Naruto, what we all need is for you and your elite classmates to become stronger. You will be representing the school through special missions in the future. The more ordinary students play their role, of course, but when it comes to the best, I want that to be you. Dogen's white and black pupils shone with praise for Naruto. I heard you even soundly defeated Ryo-san's daughter. From the information I have, she is a natural prodigy, so this is quite exciting. He looked to the form of Ryo. Reluctantly agreeing, Ryo began to speak. Yes, Dogen-sama, he pinned her down. Though I have to add, she was not using her full power. Cold as he would defend his daughter. Oh, that's fine, Ryo-san, I'm sure Naruto is strong enough to take care of her regardless. Isn't that right, Naruto? Dogen eyes looked deeply into Naruto's. Ryo tightened his fists at the blatant disregard of Miyabi. No, Dogen-sama, I don't know if I would have. Miyabi-san is quite strong, and she wasn't going all out. He forced out the proper respect for the man. He didn't want to, but this man was the biggest supporter for the school. Waving his hand dismissively, Dogen shrugged the words off. Whatever you say. Now Naruto, I expect you to prosper as an evil shinobi for the glory of Hebiho. I know it may put a lot of weight on your shoulders, just try not to disappoint me. His smile showed his pearly white teeth off. Naruto bowed awkwardly, he wasn't used to being respectful or anything. Dogen's laugh bounced off the walls. There's no need for that. I told you, it's a welcome change from the people I put up with daily. But that's all for now, I simply wanted to meet you and ensure your future success. The man laughed lowly. It was nice to meet you as well. Will that be all, old man? I was with Suzun sensei. Naruto looked to Ryo, who only pointed at the door to signify he can leave. Nodding his head, Naruto threw a wave at both of them, making Dogen smile again. Turning his back, Naruto consulted Kurama quickly. Anything, Kurama? He called out. No, I couldn't get a read on him. It felt like he wasn't even there. Kurama admitted. Don't let your guard down around these people, Naruto. You may have me on your side, but one wrong move and we can still be put down. No matter how strong someone was, if caught off guard it meant little. Shutting the door behind him and literally trapped in his thoughts, Naruto missed Miyabi practically shaking in rage. She heard everything. She had to eavesdrop. Never has a first year been called into her father's office besides her and Amu. And he's met with Dogen-sama, the biggest supporter of the school. Miyabi was livid. She was an elite. She was the one who would be given a test with a Kagura-level shinobi soon, not this boy. Even with her shaking hands, she gripped the front of his shirt, knocking him out of his thoughts. Miyabi-san. Naruto tilted his head at her. That's when he felt another pull. This was different from when he entered the seal though. It felt like he was moving really fast. Naruto. The girl teleported you both. The Biju warned him quickly. He landed on his ass, staring at the girl a couple feet ahead of him. Jumping to his feet and taking in his surroundings quickly, he realized it was a small clearing or training ground. Miyabi began to speak with venom. You've been here a single day. And you're already trying to act high and mighty. You think you deserve this opportunity. You think Dogen-sama cares about your potential. I'm an elite, you're nothing but trash Suzun picked up off the street. She glared at him harshly. Miyabi, I don't know what you're talking about. High and mighty. I didn't even know the old man was going to have a visitor in his office. You want my position as an elite. Take it. I don't care about titles. He told her, wanting to talk the girl down. You don't understand. You think you defeated me. I spent the whole day hearing about how some first year successfully made me submit in a fight. Her yellow eyes were dripping with emotion. I hate feeling weak. You made me look weak in front of my father. Just like when I couldn't help her. Preventing sadness from bubbling to the surface, Miyabi glared down at Naruto. Listen, Miyabi, I didn't want to make you feel weak. It was a spar. That's what you do in spars. Plus, they told me it was a placement test or whatever, we can always fight again in front of your father. Naruto tried calming her down to no effect. No, I think it's time I show you the difference between you and I. Naruto. She summoned her katana quickly. Fights like this are fully permitted between students, in fact it's encouraged. She let a dark smirk cross her face. I dance for the honor of evil. There's two options here, Naruto. Fight her, or retreat like a coward. Well, Kurama certainly was helpful. Pulling up the ankles of his pant legs, Naruto rolled them up to reveal sheaths for the blade of his trench knives. They weren't ideal, just something he threw together this morning, but he was glad he had them. Miyabi's katana could do major damage. Sliding his hand into the brass knuckle part of his blade, Naruto gave Miyabi a small frown. Fine. You wanna dance that badly. He raised his fists up in what seemed like a boxing stance. Let's dance. With that he shot off first, kicking at the ground and putting his all into it. Miyabi met him halfway, blade clutched in her grip. Throwing his left hand out with the knife attached, Naruto waited to see what her counter would be. He wasn't disappointed when her blade clashed with the pristine metal of his own. She maneuvered quickly, slashing at him with haste, well-planned strikes, but still hasty. Ducking and weaving through her strikes, they would occasionally meet and clash with their weapons. Both knew one clean hit from those could seriously do damage, although in her rage Miyabi could care less. She wasn't one to be emotional, but she had a lot on her plate, and to hear her father's disappointment from yesterday's match made her feel like garbage. Miyabi realized her wide slashes were getting her nowhere. Naruto was slippery. He would counter back, but she knew he wasn't truly going for the kill. She needed a plan, something to throw him off. Swinging her katana to clash with his right hand, she watched him eye the blade cautiously. Using her other hand, she went for a quick punch. Naruto instinctually went to dodge it. Good. Miyabi felt a strange sense of glee at his action. Dropping her katana from her grip, she watched Naruto's face change to confusion as he focused his attention back on her. Crouching low to grab at the falling blade, Miyabi caught it with her left hand, swiping out towards his midsection. It wouldn't impale him, but it would certainly connect. It did. Naruto's black school shirt cut above the seal on his navel. Blood poured from the wound quickly, his eyes were wide the whole time. Miyabi acted quickly and planted her foot firmly into his stomach, sending him flying backwards. This is why I told you not to follow only the blade, Naruto. Now you're cut up before her. Kurama yelled angrily to Naruto. Aw fuck. That actually hurt Kurama. He bit back a hiss as his body connected with the ground from her kick. Naruto. Channel your own chakra to the blades. Like I said, use an object as the conduit. I guess it's worth a shot. He looked at the thin cut on his stomach. It wasn't too deep or life-threatening, but he was bleeding. Miyabi eyed him with hidden satisfaction. She idly noticed his shirt looked like it was ripped more than it should have been. So that didn't only happen to female shinobi. Naruto recovered quickly, holding his arms out and focusing for a second. Yellow eyes regarded him with caution. A low hum filled the clearing as Naruto's trench knives took on a blue aura. It wasn't as vibrant as it could be. Is this it, Kurama? Yes. It's not wind nature chakra, but your knives will essentially be extended due to your chakra. You'll have an easier time fending off her sword and countering. Kurama summarized for its host, though Naruto needed to work on this technique as well. Miyabi had no idea what he was doing. He was a first year, wasn't he? How did he know how to channel his energy so quickly? Maybe he was from a hidden shinobi family. She supposed it didn't matter, the results would be the same. Using her speed to appear behind him, Miyabi went for a straight slice at his back, only to be stopped by him turning quickly and clashing with two enhanced blades in an X-shape formation. She grit her teeth as she pushed against the blades. What the hell were those things made out of? Naruto leaned forward, pushing the chakra trench knives towards her with force. Seeing that her blade wasn't struggling under the weight of his chakra, he gave a grin, making her concerned. Miyabi-chan, why don't you have some more? His grin turned feral as he pumped even more chakra into the blades recklessly. She felt her own hands begin to shake heavily under the weight before she felt herself falling. Kicking out with his leg quickly, he took her own out from underneath her. Just like yesterday, she thought in panic. This time Naruto didn't attempt to grapple her, he threw his fist out instead, knife and all. Knowing there was no way out of this at the speed of his fist, Miyabi turned her body at the last second, feeling the sting of the sharp brass knuckle graze into her side. She let out a sharp scream when Naruto delivered a brutal kick to her abdomen, in the same way she did to him. Gasping as she laid on the floor, she noticed her shirt was equally as destroyed when compared to Naruto's. Her white bra was revealed slightly, but Miyabi was never one for embarrassment. She dropped her katana for a second to put pressure on her side. The teeth of those brass knuckles made her feel like someone shattered hammers into her ribs. Looking up, she saw Naruto watching with a frown. His stomach wound was oddly starting to let off steam. She shook her head. No, she won't lose again to this boy. No, no, no. Reaching into her bra quickly, Naruto was momentarily surprised at her action. Even Kurama didn't know what to make of that. She revealed a small scroll. Holding it in front of her body, she stood up and gave a downright evil smirk. Black flames began to ignite on her hands. Shinobi tension. She yelled out. The air shifted, the scroll burst into light, and Naruto was never more shocked at what he was seeing. She's naked. What kind of shinobi are these people? Kurama asked in shock. The scroll of light tightened around Miyabi's figure and Naruto was easily able to see every private detail of her body quickly becoming covered up by new clothing. The light finally died down and Naruto was left in a bit of awe at her state. He's never seen anything like it. Wearing a high-collared white and yellow coat with black linings, Miyabi looked completely different. A black-colored cape with white infinity markings was attached to her. The cape held by a double-strap chest piece that proudly displayed a buckle with the logo of a snake. A burgundy sash and two small brown leather straps crisscrossed at the bottom front of her coat, holding it together slightly. Her breasts were practically popping out of the coat, making Naruto wide-eyed. Even a portion of her thighs and backside were exposed as well, revealing yellow panties. Dark gray thigh-high stockings and white boots with black lining covered her feet. A black choker and silver infinity necklace were adorned on her neck. The last interesting piece of clothing was on her left arm, which is covered by white bandages and black leather straps. What the hell is this? Naruto called out to her, noticing her wounded side was completely fine now. Those scrolls seemed like bullshit. HMPH. This is my shinobi tension, Naruto. Be glad that you were able to see my transformation, not many haven't lived. She placed her blade into the soft earth beneath her before forming a hand sign. Suddenly, a purple barrier was erected around them, making Naruto freeze. This is a shinobi kekai. You're stuck in here with me, boy, and I'll show you how real shinobi fight. Miyabi was brimming with extreme confidence now. Gripping the katana, she allowed her black flames to crawl along the edge. Naruto. Those flames. They are oddly familiar to the Uchiha's flames of Amaterasu. Do your best to avoid them. Kurama instructed him. To his credit, Naruto heard the advice, but he was distracted. The barrier, it made his body shake. Not in fear, rather it was in rage. It's just like with Hinata. Ka-chan. Relax. You're not alone. I'm here. Stay calm and keep focused. We can take this disgusting Uchiha imposter down. Miyabi noticed his shaking form and perceived it to be fear. Her anger was slowly depleting now that she saw him like this. She wouldn't kill him, but that didn't mean she couldn't embarrass him. She allowed the flames to coat her blade fully. Naruto's eyes dilated as his breathing became heavy, his hands tightened around his blades so hard they began to bleed. The wound on his stomach wasn't even a priority anymore. Raising his head to look at Miyabi, blazing red slits greeted her. His eyes. What is he? She was weary now. That wasn't normal. Was he a Yoma? Just like one of those vile creatures who took her mother away. Miyabi's eyes hardened. Naruto. Calm down now. Kurama noticed Naruto beginning to call upon too much chakra. It would form a tail if he wasn't careful. They didn't need a repeat of the other day. Kurama wasn't sure how the principal would react to news of his daughter dying. The Biju's tails began to twitch, feeling its chakra running rampant in the seal. If you're just going to stand there. Miyabi practically flew at him. Her speed was not even comparable to Hikage's anymore. It was in a different league. I'll come to you, she screamed out, her blackened blade aiming for him. He wasn't moving, and she wondered if he was going to take the attack head on. He did. Naruto. What the hell are you doing? Screamed Kurama through the seal. Miyabi's katana impaled through his shoulder. The black flames attempting to cauterize the wound painfully. Single quote. He's not even moving. I just stabbed him in the shoulder, and he won't move. Miyabi was shocked. What the hell was he made of? Looking back at his face, he continued to stare directly at her. Hatred painting his face as he glared at her. Seeing as this was getting nowhere, Miyabi was about to pull her blade out of its resting place in Naruto's right shoulder before he moved. Bringing his left hand up quickly, he went to jab at her stomach. She jumped back quickly, forgetting about the blade for the moment. Naruto didn't say anything as he watched her jump back. She eyed him with suspicion. What was his plan? Grabbing the handle of her blade that wounded his shoulder, he noted the flames begin to die down now that it wasn't in her grip. Miyabi's stance was firm across the clearing, waiting for him to move again. The whiskered boy snarled slightly and sheathed one trench knife. His left hand held his mother's gift, while his right held Miyabi's blade. Beginning to run, the ground caved in slightly at the pressure of his movement. What? Miyabi never saw someone move that quickly besides herself and Amu when they transformed. The sound of something cutting through the air alerted her senses as she ducked quickly. It was her own katana, sailing past her with intent to take her head off. Naruto was right in her face, shoulder bleeding and all. His face was the definition of anger in Miyabi's book. It normally would be good to mess with an opponent's emotions, but she realized emotions were giving him strength here. His left hand swung out quickly, the knife slashed into her side. She bit back a scream, feeling the cut. Shallow but painful. Naruto followed up with another swing. She couldn't get hit by that. Letting flames coat her hands, she threw them out at him. The black flames spewing out in a small stream. Naruto weaved to the left and then vanished. The only indication she had of it being pure speed instead of teleportation was the sound he made as he moved. It was akin to a cracking whip. Ha! She heard a scream to her left before her world exploded. 2 feet slammed into her injured side. Out of everything he could have done, he literally drop-kicked her. She slammed into the ground with a gasp. The proverbial wind was knocked out of her for a second. Naruto stood up fully, observing her. His shirt was in tatters now, and through half-lidded eyes she noticed a strange design on his stomach. By some divine luck, she landed close to her blade. Grabbing the katana, she let flames lick at the blade again and used it to stand up. She didn't even want to see what damage was done to her outfit. This isn't the end. In fact, it's time to show him something a little special. Miyabi's planted her feet and raised her left hand. Naruto watched, still not responding to Kurama's calls. Zanaku no Purgatorio. The white-haired girl whispered out the name with a giant smirk. This technique would certainly shift the battle to her favor. A blood-red aura overtook her hand, swirling around furiously. Naruto stood his ground, watching with caution. Clap, clap, clap. Both shinobi were shocked at the sound, hearing loud footsteps approaching them. What a nice showing. An elite and future elite going all out, what an amazing sight. Dogen called out to them, ignoring Miyabi's shocked expression. He bypassed my barrier. She dropped her technique due to the shock. The taller blonde man gave her a smile before looking to the red-eyed Naruto. Young Naruto, I knew you were special, but trying to take on a third year again. You are certainly different. Dogen took in the boy's features with wonder. The red eyes, sharp teeth, how marvelous. Dogen-sama, what are you doing here? Miyabi asked him, putting pressure on her open wounds. They'd heal eventually, but she certainly felt pain from it. Oh, I saw a curious barrier appear while I was leaving campus. Normally one wouldn't be able to detect such things, but when it comes to a shinobi like myself, it was quite easy. He responded easily. And what do you know? It's Hebijo's best and future talent fighting it out. He spread his arms wide in a dramatic pose. Naruto finally let his stance drop. It seems the fight was over. You will be in this SEAL everyday training. We need to talk about your emotions, Naruto. It's been some time since I've seen you overtaken by them so quickly. Kurama told him in a no-nonsense tone. Naruto sighed knowing he messed up. I'm sorry, Kurama. I was so mad over the stupid barrier. This girl, she actually pisses me off. Naruto glared at the girl, his eyes turning back to their normal blue now that he stopped channeling chakra. Dogen coughed once to get their attention. Now, I think you two should return to campus. I enjoyed watching the fight, though I don't want two of my future prospects dying so early. Neither of the Hebiho students liked the way he worded that sentence. A flash of light occurred around Miyabi. Her clothing changed back to her ripped school uniform. The cuts and damage Naruto delivered to her was still visible. She gave Naruto one last look before disappearing. That girl, always so cold. Dogen shook his head sadly before looking to Naruto. Naruto, go report back to Suzun. I'm sure she'll give you an earful for getting into a fight when you were supposed to return to her. He chastised the boy lightly. Naruto refused to say a word. He turned his back to the man and began walking in the direction of the castle ruins. Kurama, I need to get stronger. Kurama merely grunted at his words. Dogen watched with a large smile on his face. The pleasant expression changed to something cynical as he took in Naruto's retreating form. All according to plan. Suzun sensei, I'm not sure if it'll wo. I don't care. Take the scroll and try it. Now. It's been 6 months since their entrance to Hebiho. The fall and winter weather slowly became warmer with spring underway. Naruto would much rather be outside, but no, he was stuck in their regular training room with an annoyed Suzun sensei. Naruto. Both Hikage and Heruka are able to transform, you keep putting it off. I've already placed your uniform in the scroll, that's why I told you to wear different clothes today. The purple-haired woman explained to him quickly. She grew irate with his reluctance to grab the scroll. Naruto eyed the plain red scroll in her hand. He knew it was key to their so-called shinobi tension, and Hikage and Heruka certainly looked great with their outfits. Pervert. You know, I can't even argue that anymore after being in this school. Naruto replied flatly to the voice in his head, or seal. You've been able to fool Suzun using your chakra. Walking on walls and water, easy. But if you don't try the stupid scroll, she'll give you hell. Kurama's deep voice grumbled out tiredly. The Biju was observant in the past months, watching the so-called shinobi training of Hebiho. Honestly, it was shocking how harsh they were on students. It put Naruto's ninja academy to shame. These girls had to stay hidden in mere gravel for upwards to days. Kurama was impressed. And what happens if the scroll explodes, Kurama? Those chakra exercises you make me to daily help, sure, but I have no clue how much I should pump into the scroll. Naruto was distracted talking with Kurama and didn't even notice Rin becoming pissed off. Does it matter? What's the worst that could happen? Didn't this woman mention one of the most legendary shinobi never utilized this scroll stuff? Wouldn't Hikage-chan and Haruka-chan be disappointed if I don't transform like them? They just want to see you naked, idiot. Fair point. Naruto. Scroll. Now. Rin shouted coldly, finally fed up with the boy just staring at her open hand. Naruto jumped slightly at her tone before shooting her an apologetic smile. He grasped the scroll from her palm and his smile turned nervous. Okay, here goes nothing, I guess. Tightly holding the scroll in his left hand, Naruto poured a small amount of chakra into it. Shinobi tension. He called out. Put more energy into it, Naruto. Maybe you didn't use enough. Rin blew out a sigh. Seriously, she knew how strong her students were, but to mess up something like this. The scroll literally does all the work. Okay, one more try. Naruto. Hold it with your right hand. Grasp it in your palm and pour your chakra there. I want to test something. Blinking at Kurama's advice, Naruto shrugged much to Rin's confusion, before following the tailed beast's directions. Kurama sat up and secretly channeled its chakra. Shinobi tension. Naruto held his hand up, as a brilliant white flash took over the room. Usually the scroll's light wasn't quite fierce. Multiple female shinobi suspected the creators of this shinobi art enjoyed seeing the girls naked for a few seconds. However, Naruto's transformation made Rin close her eyes quickly. Kurama, this feels weird as hell. It's like clothes are attaching to my body by force. Kurama deadpanned at Naruto's rambling. Out of all the outlandish things taking place, the clothes are what got to him. The light died down quickly, and Rin opened her eyes to gaze upon Naruto's form. He didn't look too much different. His casual clothing was changed into his regular Hebiho uniform. It didn't matter though, it was a success in Rin's eyes. Congratulations, she told him dryly. Naruto was busy pulling at his clothes, not even acknowledging Suzun sensei for the moment. She bit back a curse before leaving the room to retrieve Hikage and Heruka. Kurama, how'd it work? What did it do? Naruto called out, genuinely excited. He couldn't wait to customize his own outfit. Orange and black clothing was swimming around in his thoughts. Kurama ignored Naruto's thoughts about badass orange and black outfits, before giving a little hypothesis on the situation. Your right palm held the mark of my father. While the mark has long since faded, your chakra picked up hints of yang release. The scroll was obviously accepting of the energy. Don't forget what Suzun doesn't shut up about, yin and yang energy. It may not be chakra, but judging by your clothes, it worked. Kurama had no understanding about the specifics of the transformation, rather the Kyuubi gave an explanation that Naruto would slightly understand. I still wish the thing exploded. Naruto snapped his fingers together, the sound echoing throughout the empty room. I got it. So, utilizing my own chakra and using the scroll similar to a conduit like my blades, I channeled this yang release as a sort of replacement for the energy these shinobi use. He finally figured it out. Naruto was smiling wildly at his own intelligence. Dumbass. That's literally what I said. Naruto visibly deflated at Kurama's words. So cold, Kurama. I thought we were partners. Naruto whined to the Biju. HMPH. Go hit something really hard, like that training dummy. See if it explodes. Kurama would have explosions one way or another. Naruto gave another careless shrug as he recovered quickly from Kurama's harsh words. Approaching the stationary practice dummy, he took a stance and threw his right hand out in a jab. Asterisk fwoosh. The dummy got sent flying back until it impacted with the wall. No doubt it was destroyed. Naruto watched with an open mouth. What the hell, Kurama? I wasn't even channeling chakra. You are. It seems while this scroll is active around your body, chakra is seeping out constantly. I haven't detected anything foreign entering your body. Kurama adopted a thoughtful expression. I wouldn't even know what to sense for if this shinobi energy affected your body. Naruto nodded to Kurama's words, flexing his hands repeatedly. Feeling chakra circulating through his body always resulted in a good feeling. Naruto-kun. A voice shouted from his left before he felt an impact. As he was falling, he noticed green hair just below his vision. It was Hikage who tackled him, but the voice was obviously Heruka. Hitting the ground and groaning at the rough feeling, Naruto's face lit up as he took in their new outfits. These transformations were certainly something. You see Hikage naked daily and Heruka is always in your face when bathing. Why do you care about their outfits? The Kyuubi couldn't understand Naruto's embarrassment. Seriously, the snake girl tried to eat his face daily. Kurama was forced to watch all that before wisely cutting the connection. Kurama. Naruto started seriously. Sometimes it's significantly more erotic if there's clothing rather being fully naked. The full exposure creates less embarrassment than this. The tailed beast was momentarily shocked at the tone. Naruto didn't clarify any further, rather he took in the girl's outfits. Haruka was directly in his line of sight, so he looked her over first. Haruka's shinobi outfit was obviously lewd. She wore what resembles pink and white lingerie with the bottom of her breasts left uncovered and a diamond-shaped opening revealing her a lot of cleavage. Her arms are both covered by a white sleeve while her pure white stockings were tied on her thighs. Simple pink high heels adorned her feet. On her back is a large white lab coat lined with many different vials filled with hazardous chemicals. Oddly enough, her arms weren't in the lab coat, rather it was held up by her shoulders. Naruto-kun, I tried to stop Hikage-san from tackling you, but she never listens. Heruka crossed her arms under her generous bust, eyeing the snake-like girl with slight disdain. The green-haired girl didn't even respond. She pecked Naruto on the lips quickly, her emotionless face revealing nothing. Jumping off him quickly, Naruto eyed her with his blush still apparent. Hikage was wearing an outfit that Hinata would more than likely chastise if she could see her daughter. It certainly fit Hikage's personality, but wow, Naruto thought, ignoring Kurama's loud snort. Wearing a torn-up yellow and black striped shirt with a snake pattern and black frill trim, Hikage's cleavage was fully displayed. Due to the state of the shirt, it could really only cover one of her shoulders properly. Her neck was covered with thin chokers while black leather constricts going down her arms and legs carried her knives. Hinata's knife was placed in a weird position on the back of her right leg. Her blue jeans had various gashes and rips. The zipper was down, and the belt unbuckled, which is why Naruto felt so embarrassed. He knew what type of panties she wore, so it wasn't strange to note that they weren't exposed, but the toned, V-shaped line leading from her hips to her sacred place was on display. I'm a lucky guy, aren't I? Sure. Whatever you say. Kurama was obviously jealous. Naru, you actually did it. I knew you could, Hikage said as she placed herself at his side. She was slightly disappointed that she couldn't see the transformation and over the fact that he didn't have a unique outfit yet. At least I can see him whenever I want. Her lips pulled up into a cruel smirk as she looked to Heruka. The blonde girl felt angry for a moment before shaking it off and appraising Naruto's form as she usually does. Good job, Naruto-kun. Now Suzun-sensei can get off your back for now. Thanks, girls. It took an extra try, but I finally got this down. Now I have to think of what outfit I want for it. He looked up at the ceiling, starting to ponder his choice again. Era. Why not something daring, Naruto-kun? Haruka asked him with her usual dangerous smile. Sorry. That's for my eyes only, doll girl. Stick to your exhibitionist getup. Haruka's eye twitched madly. Grinding her teeth together, she turned to Hikage. Says the girl wearing unzipped jeans. Are you trying to have those fall off of you, snake slut? Hikage didn't give a verbal response to the insult, rather she reached for her knife. Haruka on the other hand reached slowly into her long coat. We are supposed to be a team, ya know. Naruto told them as he scratched his head. This was a daily occurrence. Suzun-sensei definitely exploited their rivalry so they can train harder. Naruto had to give the purple-haired woman some credit. Seeing the girls get into each other's faces, Naruto sighed before separating them. He ignored Haruka's blush at his physical contact. For such a teasing girl, she certainly got embarrassed when he touched her. If you two don't stop fighting, I'll kick your asses all over this room. Both girls stopped glaring to turn their anger on him. What? He stuttered out. Asses. Just asses. Haruka asked him dangerously. Hikage stood next to her with a frown on her lips. I don't understand. If I recall, Naruto-kun, you called Miyabi-san's ass pretty. Yet, we get no such compliment. Haruka's face turned into something evil. I didn't mean it literally. I was just saying things. That was like a year ago too. Hubby-chan, you believe me, right? Do we not have pretty asses as well, Naru? She tapped on the grip of her knife slowly. Naruto started sweating, placing his hands up slowly. Mercy. Please. I hope that shinobi tension protects you, Naruto-kun. This feels oddly familiar. Kurama thought as the tailed beast listened to Naruto beg the girls to stop while running. It doesn't matter if you're here or in Konoha. You still cause trouble. Kurama, give me your chakra. All 9 tails if you have to. Ha. No way, brat. Naruto heard their connection cut out as he dodged a throwing knife aimed at his leg. Hubby-chan, I thought we loved each other. The green-haired girl gave him a look while they were chasing him around the room. Think of it as extra training, Naru. Love you. She threw another knife. Rin walked towards the training room after being summoned by the principal. Her mind was preoccupied with the news she received. Tonight, Miyabi and Amu would be sent on a month-long mission with a small team. That team would be including a Kagura-level shinobi to clear out a Yoma nest. Yoma were vile creatures. Disgusting parasitic demons born from bloodshed between shinobi. The minute a barrier is erected on a battlefield and blood spills, a strong enough Yoma can enter or even be born into their world. Rin has taken down a dozen or so herself, some were rather weak. A nest of them though. She wouldn't be looking forward to something like that. She wondered what Ryo-sama was thinking when sending his daughter on a mission like this. Perhaps he really believes in her ability to gain a rank higher than Jonin in their school. After all, the girl was easily above a Chunin in skill level. It would be a disservice to restrict the girl to lower missions when she could be on the front lines against good shinobi. Amu was no slouch either. The girls practically grew up together. They were deadly when working as a team. Ridding herself of any troublesome thoughts, Rin opened the large doors to what was designated as her squad's training room. Her red eyes narrowed as she took in the sight before her. Naruto was on the floor, his transformation undone as he laid on the ground in his ripped-up casual clothes. His head was placed on Hikage's lap, the girl was idly stroking his hair. Haruka sat on his legs, one of her own legs crossed over the other as she looked to Rin. Hello Suzun-sensei, we just got finished training. It seems Naruto-kun couldn't hold his transformation for that long. Haruka stated while patting Naruto on the leg she was sitting on. Shockingly, Hikage wasn't glaring at her, probably because she was focused on the boy laying on her lap. Rin placed one hand to her forehead, attempting to prevent her headache when dealing with them. You both can cancel your transformations now. The rest of the day will be centered on my lectures. She heard Naruto groan lowly into Hikage's lap at her words. Purposely overlooking how Hikage blushed at his face pressing into her crotch, Rin started tapping her heel against the ground, waiting for them to get up. Scrunching her face up at the light show from two transformations becoming undone, the elite teacher watched both girls stretch slightly. Back in their short uniforms, Rin felt her headache come in full force. Haruka's outfit looked even shorter than normal, and Hikage had various cuts on her tight top. In the back of her mind, Suzun wondered if they even wore bras under them. Probably not. She knew how obsessed they were with Naruto. Typically, emotions weren't something evil shinobi were meant to show off. These girls thrived on their emotions though. Yes, even Hikage, the emotionless girl who sounded bored unless Naruto was brought up. Naruto-kun, thanks for being a comfortable chair. She rested her hand on his thigh, making Hikage give her full attention as she was previously spaced out. If that hand goes any higher, you'll lose it. The snake-like shinobi told Heruka with a dead look on her face. Heruka removed it slightly, which made Hikage look away. Suddenly, Haruka's hand struck out and landed on Naruto's crotch. Hikage jumped up quickly. Enough. You annoying girls have to stop. Naruto, get up. Rin shouted to the trio under her command. Naruto rose to his feet with vigor, his face crimson from Haruka's hand placement. Follow me. Naruto, if you fall asleep during my lesson I'll make sure you practice hiding underwater for 3 days straight. It seemed like an empty threat because of the absurdity, but no. She was serious. Suzun-sensei, I won't, he called out, standing next to her and leaving the girls behind. The two gave each other a small dirty look before following their teacher and classmate. Today I'll be covering stealth and trap making again. I don't care how many times we go over the same lesson, I'll hammer it into your brains. She delivered her words with natural iciness. Naruto's head dropped in defeat. Haruka observed Naruto during the entire lecture. She wouldn't quite say she was obsessed with him, but interested was not strong enough to describe it. Her only friend was such a mysterious puzzle. Haruka enjoyed puzzles. The way he moved, talked and acted was all so mature at times that it fascinated her. Oh, she was aware that he doesn't go all out on either her or Hikage during their spars or when they gang up on him. Haruka didn't care though, she liked that side of him. He never wanted to actually hurt them. Naruto was not like her father. She was jealous. She admits that only to herself. Every night she hears Naruto and Hikage talking in their room. Whether it be mundane or silly topics, it didn't matter. They enjoyed being with each other. She wanted that. She knew they were young, yet she wanted Naruto to talk to her like that. Teasing him and messing around made her happy. She would never want anyone to replace him as her friend. Suzun-sensei said relationships are frowned upon as shinobi. She would normally agree. Having bonds are something for others to exploit. People were so easy to manipulate. Haruka knew that well. When it came to Naruto though, she couldn't follow that thought process. It was illogical, and as an intelligent girl she knew she shouldn't act like this. But Haruka didn't care. She had no childhood outside of a mother who kept her inside every day and a father who would rather cheat on her mother than be home. She needed a connection with someone, and Naruto was the one. Haruka wasn't an idiot. She knew how he loved Hikage. Whenever he looked at the girl he would get embarrassed, and to some degree she understood. She heard how they left the orphanage together, surviving on the streets and eventually taken under the care of a gang leader. They were connected forever, and that thought hurt her. Her mind constantly assaulted her with what ifs. What if her mother let her play with Naruto? What if Naruto never met Hikage? What if she was in Hikage's position? What if Naruto never loved her like Hikage? She wanted that love. She heard her mother say she loved her father. That was a lie. They both despised each other. Fake smiles and all. With Naruto, she wanted that. They've only truly known each other for months when compared to Hikage's time with him, but she treasured every minute. He was so open with her, telling her whatever she asked. She was a liar, just like her father. She'll never forget lying to his face over her admission to the school. Would Naruto hate her due to her lies? Would he hate her if he found out how she struggles with the want to manipulate many individuals for her own selfish reasons? From the bottom of her cold heart, she truly hoped he wouldn't hate her. Haruka never wanted to lose to Hikage, never. Though second place is better than never placing at all. She could never steal him away from the girl. Oh, how she wished it was possible. Her strongest chemical or hypnosis drug would never break through Naruto's love for Hikage. She came to terms with that. Sometimes she'd show him that fake smile that attached itself to her face for 11 years before Naruto allowed her to be herself. Haruka hated herself in those moments. When around Naruto, all she felt was regret for her actions and a longing to be better. As this love, Haruka's green eyes sought out Naruto's. The whiskered shinobi looked bored out of his mind. Hikage was obviously spaced out again to his left. Somehow his blue eyes met with her own as he gave her a big grin. Making a fake gun with his hand and pointing it at himself, he pulled the imaginary trigger the second Suzun-sensei turned her back. Haruka stifled a giggle at his actions, he was always so dramatic. Seeing her struggle not to laugh, Naruto reluctantly turned back to the lecture, his eyes oddly spaced out like Hikage's. Haruka watched him fondly. She didn't care. Young or not, with Hikage or not, she'll do her best to make him fall for her. She knew nothing about relationships, magazines and books only helped so much. Her mother never allowed her to use the computer or watch much television. She'd learned from Naruto. He was only her friend for now, and that was okay. Haruka was a patient girl. She waited years in her personal hell of a home. She had all the time in the world right now. She would never be a forgotten doll who was left behind. The time with Suzun sensei went by quickly, much to Naruto's joy. It was a Friday night. Normally, Shinobi students weren't allowed off days, but normal classes wouldn't take place on weekends. Luckily, the buxom teacher told them she had her own mission tomorrow night, so they were free from her for a day. Hikage and Haruka were already trying to drag him off to the baths for the night. Naruto, bathe later. We should go somewhere secluded and try to utilize my chakra outside of the seal. Kurama instructed the boy. They needed to get a jump start on synchronizing chakra. Sure, Naruto has been doing chakra control exercises and such over the months for his own enormous reserves, but Kurama didn't want one tail of chakra to make the boy blind with rage. They aren't going to like that, Kurama. This reminded the Biju that he was still a 15-year-old teenager here. Not the 19-year-old war hero who was fighting on the moon before being sent away. Kurama growled before addressing Naruto again. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to let you be unprepared for anything in the future. If you manage to hold one tail for 30 minutes straight without raging about, I'll even teach you something. It was bait, high quality, but bait nonetheless. What? More ninjutsu. Finally, Naruto cried out happily. Every night in the seal, Kurama went over every hand seal using its gigantic ones that Naruto mimicked to his best capability. So far Kurama only showed him 2 techniques, that while basic, they were essential. I'm sure you'll like it more than the Kawarimi no Jutsu or the Henge, after all you could say it's your specialty. Kurama's words were filled with mirth. Alright, Naruto yelled out. Blinking for a second, he forgot himself, because that definitely wasn't in his head. Naruto-kun. What has that cutie so excited? I don't know, but I want to find out. Look at his ripped shirt, he looks so manly like that. The comments rolled in because he brought attention to himself. He promptly ignored the fangirls and turned to the 2 girls at his sides. Hubby-chan, Haruka-chan. I just remembered something really important and I won't be back until real late tonight. He gave them sheepish grin, resulting in 2 pairs of narrowed eyes taking aim at him. You didn't mention this before. Era. Naruto-kun, I hope you aren't trying to escape me. Naruto shook his head desperately. No, it really is serious. It's Kurama, Hikage-chan. He told the green-haired girl quickly. Haruka tilted her head in confusion at the name. Hikage had a look of understanding while still remaining somewhat reluctant. She still hated the idea of Naruto leaving her because of his former home. Nodding her head, her facial expression displayed her inner feelings. Naruto did not care for that look. Taking his hands, he pushed her cheeks up again, trying to force a smile. She always became annoyed when he did that, but it made her want to smile. His bright grin always made her feel warm. I wish Naruto-kun touched me like that. Imagine Miyabi-kun and Naruto-kun both doing that to you. They are so handsome. A girl shouted, making Naruto question them once more. Why the hell did they act like Miyabi is a man? Go ahead, Naru. Wake me up when you're back. Giving her a quick hug at her agreement, he turned to an unusually silent Haruka. Haruka-chan. Oh, yes. She looked up at his call. Is something wrong? Of course not, Naruto-kun. I was just. She shook her head. Good luck on whatever you have to do with this, Kurama. I'll see you tomorrow. With those words, Haruka walked in the direction of the community baths. Naruto let out a low sigh. Hikage-chan, make sure Haruka is okay. You're both friends, ya know. Friends check up on each other. Hikage hummed slightly, neither confirming nor denying if she'd check on the girl. Naruto. I know. Geez, Kurama, why are you in such a rush? See ya later, Hikage-chan. Naruto threw a wave over his shoulder as he ran towards the secret exit of the Castle Keep ruins. Hikage ignored the girl's comments about her Naruto's ripped shirt. His toned arms and stomach belonged to her. Not these first-year boring shinobi girls. Ka-san definitely corrupted me. Hikage thought happily. Naruto began his exit quickly, uncaring of his clothing state. If Hikage was allowed to attend classes with her top ripped up, why should he care about his shirt? Rounding a corner, he collided with a body suddenly. He didn't fall, but the person in front of him did. Watch where you're going, annoying first year. The voice trailed off. Oh, you. Naruto blinked at the tone, it was a moo. The girl stood up fast, adjusted her glasses and gave him a nasty glare. Hey, for someone called an elite, you run around like a child. Naruto may have places to be, but he wouldn't miss the opportunity to insult a Mu. She started the little verbal war, and he'd finish it. Says the elite, who fell when I ran into her. He finished smugly. Listen, she was promptly cut off. Amu, we need to leave. Another slightly deeper voice cut into their small fight. Oh, Miyabi-chan, sorry I was trying to put this idiot in his place. Amu replied with a wide smile, eyeing her best friend with a blush. Whatever. We have a mission, let's go. She strutted past them in her usual outfit. Not even giving Naruto a passing glance. He noticed them both begin to walk away before speaking loudly. Yo Miyabi-chan. Good luck on your mission. Maybe when you're back we can spar again. The girl stopped in her tracks at his words. She hesitated before looking at him slightly. When I come back you won't be able to lay a finger on me. She told him with a smirk. Oh yeah, I told you before didn't it? I'm gonna kick your pretty ass all over Heavyho if you don't stop actin' like that. He shouted at her. Amu was scandalized at his words. Pretty ass. Do not talk about Miyabi. Miyabi held a hand up, making Amu stop her upcoming rant. Turning to face him fully, Miyabi locked eyes with the blonde boy. No interruptions next time then. I look forward to embarrassing you, Naruto. With those clipped words she spun on her heel professionally and left with a disgusted Amu. Hey, she totally likes me. Naruto spoke in the quiet hallway. She likes you just as much as I like the Uchiha. And what if I was an Uchiha, Kurama? I would have eaten you. That's a joke, right? Why aren't you laughing? I've eaten people before, Naruto. Please say psych. The tailed beast didn't say psych. The secluded area Naruto chose was actually close to home, Hinata's home. Far from his mother's grave, to avoid disturbing it, he sat in a lotus position and steadily called upon Kurama's chakra. Kurama explained that it wouldn't make him a beacon for every shinobi in the world if the chakra trickled in, unlike when he spiked it wildly against the rogue shinobi. Keep your thoughts clear. Do not think of anything negative, Naruto. I may not be a being that thrives on hate now, but my chakra in this state is susceptible to emotions like that. Naruto gave the mental equivalent of a nod to Kurama, signifying his understanding. Feeling the weirdly pleasant feeling of the chakra pouring out of his open seal, Naruto felt his teeth begin to sharpen alongside his nails. It wasn't long before the bubbling chakra took form around him, fox-like ears and tail twitching with the wind. Kurama. Naruto noticed his voice sounded deeper, rougher. That's one tail. What should I do next? The Biju was impressed at Naruto's development over the past 6 months. Before that, one tail would have still made him livid, it was simply the nature of tailed beast chakra. It had nothing to do with Kurama allowing him to use the chakra or not. Continue to maintain it. I want you to be able to master one tail so we can move on. Even if we can't synchronize until the future, this is good enough. Naruto gave a grunt in response. He did feel a pull on more negative emotions with this chakra bubbling around him. Kurama, what would happen if Hikage touched this chakra? Since I'm not out to cause you harm anymore, she wouldn't be hurt by it. You were able to distribute my chakra to thousands of shinobi in the past. One tail was enough to protect them from a multitude of attacks. The red eyes of Naruto widened in shock. Thousands of shinobi. A dark grin covered his face. What did I tell you about getting cocky? It seems that woman you call Ka-chan did a number on how confident you get. Kurama wasn't wrong. Hinata didn't want them to be truly arrogant, but her kids were certainly cocky in certain situations. She rubbed off on them. Clearing his head of apparent past accomplishments, Naruto sat with Kurama for what they deemed as half an hour. The chakra shroud was still holding strong. What happens at Four Tails, Kurama? Naruto was speaking out loud since he was alone in the field. Oh, that'd be telling. I want it to be a surprise. Naruto didn't how that sounded, but again, he trusted Kurama with his life. Stop channeling chakra now, I'll help you pull my chakra away. You did well, Naruto. Kurama meant it. For how different Naruto's body was now, to be able to hold a tail of corrosive chakra was a nice feat. It's all because of you, Kurama. I should be the one thanking you for the help all the time. He replied to the Biju sincerely. Faye, don't get too emotional on me, brat. Now it's time to show you a little technique that you fell in love with. Come into the seal. Naruto, still sitting, followed the command of his partner. Opening his eyes, he was greeted to Kurama sitting up with its hand in a seal that made Naruto feel nostalgic. What's that, Kurama? This, Naruto, is probably your most useful technique. Made stronger by your already large reserves in my presence. This is the sign for creating Kage Bunshin, the possibilities to use these are endless. Kurama's almost human hands were fixed into a cross position. The seal for this should practically be engraved into your soul. I can't even count how many times you used this jutsu. Naruto felt offended by that statement but copied the sign and took up a stance by pure instinct alone. Raising his hands in front of his face, Naruto gave a grin that filled Kurama with a sense of pride. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Chakra flailed around Naruto's body wildly, the blue aura easily visible. A series of popping noises overtook the previous silence of the seal. Naruto's blue eyes were wide as he gaped at the clones that surrounded him and Kurama. Each clone looked equally as shocked. All right, Kurama, I did it. The clones all shouted in agreement, making Kurama's sensitive ears ring. Lower your damn voice. I didn't show you this jutsu so you can make me deaf. The Biju ignored the mumbles of apologies from various clones. Now, this is only the beginning. These clones. Kurama swiped his clone out and crushed a few unlucky clones, they screamed loudly. Naruto watched, mortified. I felt that Kurama didn't care. You need to practice using this every day. I want you to be able to control the number of clones, plan out what they're going to do beforehand and work on the memory flow after they inevitably pop. Kurama raised a fingernail to point at Naruto. His cowering clones were hiding behind the original. Until this is second nature to you again, you will be doing this constantly. Understood? Yes, Kurama-sama. The tailed beast grinned at the title. Don't call Kurama that. No way does this fox bastard deserve the praise. A clone whispered. Which one said that? The Kyuubi growled dangerously, eyeing the clones with furious red eyes. You'll never take us alive. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. The clone spam begun. Naruto ran around the seal as Kurama swiped at them all. The Great Clone Massacre has begun, and Kurama will be the victor. Training, with Kurama in the seal for a while tired them both out. The Kyuubi vehemently denied being too old to keep up with the younger Naruto, but he knew the Biju was lying. Checking on the connection, Naruto heard the familiar snores of the gigantic fox carry through the seal. Shaking his head in amusement, Naruto cut the connection and looked up at the sky. The moon was bathing the clearing in its light, it was definitely late. Guess it can't hurt to visit home for a little bit. He was sure Hikage would forgive him. Making the short journey to Hinata's house, Naruto entered using the key they always hid outside. He noticed the doorknob felt rather loose, but he shrugged and went inside. Kicking his shoes off by the door, he went to grab a water in the kitchen fridge. Screaming jutsus out in his seal made his throat sore in the real world, it seemed. Opening the refrigerator, he noticed there was no water, which was strange. Every couple weeks, Hikage or Naruto would check up on the house. They definitely should have water bottles at least. Don't move. A voice squeaked out to him as he felt something sharp press into his back. What the hell? A thief? In their house? I said don't move please. Blinking his shock away, the voice. A female, young too, what the? Sorry, I'm going to have to move. Subtly preforming hand signs close to his chest, Naruto substituted himself with a chair in the corner of his vision. Grabbing a kitchen knife with extreme speed, Naruto got behind the figure who was stunned in front of the fridge. He noticed a dark outfit complete with a hood, a classic, thief, appearance. Now, he laid the knife against the throat of the person, he couldn't see any of their features due to the hood, but it didn't matter. Nobody robs his house. You don't move. 30 seconds passed and he furrowed his brow when he felt liquid hitting his hand. Then the muffled sobbing caught his ear and his heart sunk. Who was this person? Retracting the knife, he stabbed it into the wall, making the figure jump. Hinata would have to forgive him for that one. Reaching for the hood, he pulled it down quickly. Bright blonde hair greeted him. Dirty with filth and grime. Please don't kill me. I'll do anything. Anything. The girl whispered out. Naruto strained his ears to hear it. Hey look, I'm not going to kill ya. He grabbed her shoulder lightly and heard her knife hit the floor. Spinning her around slowly, words died in his throat. The hair color, the eye color, the soft but dirty facial features. She looks like Ka-chan. Naruto's eyes were taking in the comparison. The dirty blonde girl was shivering in fear, knowing he could easily kill her. Please, I'm so hungry. I haven't eaten in a couple days, since I gave my food away. There were no wild bean sprouts around and I thought this house was abandoned. She sounded like she was panicking, tears dripping down her face, smudging the dirt on her cheeks. Naruto released her shoulder quickly and raised his hands to show he wasn't a threat. His heart was tightening at the comparisons to his mother. This was insane. Look, I don't have my knife anymore. I'm sorry for scaring you, but you were robbing my house. He told the girl who looked like she'd cry again at any second. Please, I was so hungry. I'll never do it again, just please don't hurt me. Her bright green eyes were closed tightly, fear radiating off her body in waves while she pleaded. Oi, I just told you I won't hurt you. He noticed she looked about a year younger than him. Potentially a 14-year-old girl sneaking into strangers' houses and looking for food. That was extremely dangerous in the red light district. See, can I please leave? I will never return, I swear. She cried out, still shaking slightly. Naruto knew he couldn't leave a girl like this, his mother would haunt him for eternity. She really looks like a younger Ka-chan. It's ridiculous. He held his hand out to the girl slowly. The blonde opened her eyes and fearfully looked to the hand. Her green orbs flickered from the hand to his face multiple times. What? I don't understand. I can't give you anything. I have nothing but the clothes on my back. Her face looked sick now. No, you don't. You don't want that. Please, I'm begging you. Naruto widened his eyes at the awful conclusion she came to. He retracted his hand fast and shook his head furiously. No, that's not what I meant. Look, I can help you out here. While I don't appreciate you breaking into my home, you need the help. He told her fast, wanting to defuse that whole inappropriate situation. Strangely, the girl's messy face hardened a bit. I don't need pity. She mumbled almost quietly. Naruto frowned. It seemed she was prideful despite being on the street. When Hinata found them, they didn't think twice. Okay, maybe they did, but they were only 8. This girl was years older. She didn't want handouts. It's not pity. I just want to help you. I was in the same position as you. Hikage-chan and I were living in an alleyway for a year before Ka-chan found us. I was just like you, ya know. He gave her a shaky smile, trying to earn her trust. Briefly wondering about the names he mentioned, she responded slowly. Just like me. Have you gone hungry for weeks wishing your parents could take you home? To a home that doesn't exist. I was born poor and that won't change. Her teary eyes snapped onto his downcast expression. You've had it tough, huh? Certainly tougher than hubby-chan and I. Naruto had his unique experience in pickpocketing and stealing to thank for that. I don't care though, I want to help you, so accept it. The fact that she looked like his mother made that want much stronger. The girl was going to argue before his stern glare stopped her completely. Nervously nodding her head, she stared at the ground. Proud of himself for stopping the little thief. Ka-chan, I'm even using the nickname you gave us. He cleared his throat to get her attention. My name is Naruto and yeah, this is my home. I share it with my girlfriend Hikage-chan. Our Ka-chan passed away a few months back, so we take care of the house occasionally. The girl's eyes were wide at his words, not even realizing he said girlfriend and our Ka-chan in the same sentence. I'm so sorry about your Ka-chan. Forgive me for coming here. The streets changed her, but she didn't want to rob a dead mother's home. An abandoned home with no emotional value was better than this. Naruto waved her off. It's okay. Ka-chan would want me to help you like she did for me. She was really amazing, ya know. He stopped himself from remembering hurtful memories. What's your name, little thief? The blonde looked surprised at the nickname. Yomi, Naruto-san. She bowed slightly, showing her manners despite her status. No need to bow, Yomi-chan. Why don't you take a shower and I'll try to make you something edible. Everything was moving fast, but then again, Hinata did the same with them. Are you sure? I have gone some time without doing that, I don't mind. Naruto really didn't want to know if she meant showering or eating, but it didn't matter, he had to help her. Yes please, I insist. The bathroom is right up the stairs next to the kitchen. There should be towels and everything in there. You think you'll be alright? He asked softly. Yes, Naruto-san, you are a nice person. He waved his hand again, dismissing the compliment. I'm only doing what's right. I'll leave you some of my bigger clothes outside the door. Don't worry how long you take, I'll be here. The younger blonde girl gave a grateful nod and left the room slowly. Naruto retrieved the discarded knives, palming his face. He mumbled to himself. Really? You were almost robbed at knife point and now you let the thief shower upstairs. Good going, Naruto. He blamed Hinata. Assembling a dish of scrambled eggs and toast from bread that luckily wasn't moldy, Naruto thought it looked pretty good. Plain, but pretty good. Then again, he wasn't much of a chef. Luckily, he found a small bag dropped by the kitchen that must have been Yomi's, holding about 10 bottles of water. He'd obviously let her drink some with her meal, despite the fact that she stole it from him. Naruto-san, I have finished my shower. A soft voice spoke to him, making him turn to the girl. She was certainly cute without all the dirt and grime covering her. Bright blonde hair and shining green eyes on her delicate face. Her body, which was also developing like Hikage and Haruka's, he thought with a deadpan stare, was covered in a large pajama shirt that was his and a pair of Hikage's small sleep shorts. Hikage never even wore those. That girl. Naruto-san. Oh sorry Yomi-chan, you look very cute. He told her without thinking. Her face flushed furiously at his words. I'm Naruto-san, She rambled, grabbing the hem of the long shirt. He realized she wasn't used to such compliments, and he wanted to make her comfortable. Look, I made you something. It's not much, but I used what we had. I think I did a good job. He pointed to the large dish with eggs and bread. Yomi's eyes sparkled and her stomach growled at the sight. Are you sure I can eat this, Naruto-san? I tried robbing you. Naruto gave a small laugh, confusing her. My girlfriend threw knives at me today and my friend helped her. I think what you did hurt me less. Her mouth opened in shock at his response. What was he? Sitting down slowly and properly, Yomi raised her utensils and began to eat, thanking him for the food again. Naruto leaned against the counter and watched her eat, before feeling like a creep and deciding to keep himself busy by washing dishes or something. The kitchen was quiet as Yomi hungrily feasted on the simple meal. Her gaze locked onto his back after a couple minutes. Naruto-san. Yeah. I am finished, Naruto-san, thank you for the meal. He looked at her plate, everything was eaten and the utensils were properly placed on a napkin. Her water bottle was empty as well, not even the cap out of place. I hope it was decent, at least, Yomi-chan. I don't cook often, especially since my school has a cafeteria. No, Naruto-san. It was delicious. Almost as delicious as bean sprouts. I believe the market in town was having a sale on them soon for the spring season. I wish I could have held out longer, but I was desperate and resorted to crime. I can never forgive myself, Naruto-san. Naruto rubbed his neck at her words. Yomi was certainly an odd one. Bean sprouts, huh? I told you already, it's okay, I was in your position before. Except I stole a whole lot more than you did apparently. Yomi weakly nodded her head. Well, if that's all, Naruto-san, can I please leave? Naruto didn't like that she worded it like she was held captive. I wasn't forcing you to stay, but. Yomi-chan, where are you going to go? He was a bit worried about sending her off. It didn't feel right to do. I normally sleep under the bridge close to the marketplace to look for sales in the morning or sell scrap metal. She responded politely. Naruto winced at her words. I see. How about I help you a bit more? Noticing her expression darken, Naruto jumped closer to her. Wait, it's not a handout. I just want to offer you something. Yomi sat back down in her seat slowly at his words. Since hubby-chan and I can't be here all the time, how about you stay here, Yomi-chan? I know this is going fast, but my Ka-chan did the same thing for me. I want to help you from the bottom of my heart. Yomi was in a state of shock. Nobody gave her anything in her life besides scraps and garbage. Now this boy was offering his home. The home she just tried to rob. Was this a facade or was he genuine? She needed to know. Naruto-san, I have nothing to give you. How can I possibly pay you back? She was a smart girl. Nobody did anything for free, not in this world. That's why her ideology was shattered upon seeing his head shake. Nothing at all, Yomi-chan. I'm doing this because I want to. My Ka-chan was, well, a criminal. We have a lot of funds in the bank so the house will be maintained. You don't have to be worried about that. He explained to the shell-shocked girl. She rose to her feet suddenly. But I can't freeload off of your kindness. It wouldn't be right. Naruto smiled at her softly, making her face flush. You aren't freeloading. I want you to take care of this home when we can't be here. I'm in school until summer and then I'll just report to my teacher occasionally. Yomi still looked unsure. I won't spend any of your money either. I'll be frugal. Her eyes closed tightly before she felt something touch her head. It was Naruto's hand. The taller teen was ruffling her hair slightly. You're such a cute girl, Yomi-chan. Don't worry. Like I said, I want you to stay here. At his declaration, her eyes teared up again. Naruto-san. She tackled him in a hug, her arms secure around his waist. He was surprised before looking down at her with a soft grin. I don't know what I'll tell Hikage-chan, but I'm sure she'll agree. He mumbled. Just then two figures appeared in the doorway of the kitchen. Black and red school uniforms covering their bodies. He left us to sneak away with his younger lover. Hikage-san, it seems you weren't good enough. Haruka's teasing voice made Naruto freeze. Naruto. Hikage hissed out. Breaking the hug from the now shocked Yomi, Naruto turned to the girls. Okay. Wait. This isn't what it looks like. She only tried robbing me. Hikage and Haruka's eyes widened at his explanation. You're telling me, I woke up to you talking about being robbed by a small girl. Kurama's laughter rang loudly throughout the seal. Naruto felt his blood pressure begin to rise. Naruto-kun. Naruto-san. Hero of the 4th Shinobi World War. Hero of Konohagakure no Sato. Master of Senjutsu. Need I go on, brat? If only your Uchiha friend could see you now, you would never hear the end of it. Fuck you, Kurama. Kurama's deep laughter only made his head pound more. Hikage didn't know what she was expecting in their second year at this shinobi school. Missions, close encounters with death, espionage and sabotage. Anything was possible. For the so-called group of elites, they were dealing with a different problem. Naruto-san, I know I already explained the benefits of a bean sprout-rich diet, but please allow me to do it again. You can't keep eating instant ramen alone. Yomi-chan, you already told me about the best place to cultivate, find and buy bean sprouts. I think I get it. Hikage watched her Naruto shakily smile at the persistent blonde girl. No, Naruto-san, I'm simply looking out for you. Let me tell you again for both our sake. Resisting the urge to smile at how Naruto's head slumped in defeat, Hikage continued to lounge in their comfortable shinobi room. Year 2 of Hebiho was no different than the first one for Hikage. She trained every day, whether that be with spars against her teammates or Suzun sensei. Outside of that, life was pretty dull. Sure, she loved spending every opportunity with Naruto, but lately he's been doing his own thing. It bothered her, but despite her possessiveness, she would never stop him from bettering himself. Even doll girl has been doing something in secret. The snake-eyed girl stared at the ceiling of the comfy room. Heruka was a pain in her ass, a gigantic pain. The two Shinobi girls were rivals despite the fact that Hikage already won Naruto. To be fair, he belonged to her for years, so it wasn't a fair fight. That didn't stop Haruka though. The girl used any chance she got to attach herself to Naruto. Hikage turned her eyes away from the ceiling only to blink at two people standing over her. Naruto still looked the same as ever to her, which was a good thing, but he was a bit taller. The other person was someone Hikage genuinely didn't mind besides her odd obsession with bean sprouts, Yomi. The girl was wearing the same school uniform as everyone else, but the skirt was way longer. It didn't reveal her panties with a gust of wind like Haruka's or Hikage's. She eyed the girl, ignoring her moving mouth for a second. When she found Naruto with her in their mother's house, she was actually angry. Upon hearing his explanation though, she felt something for the girl. The fact that she was so similar to Hinata also affected Hikage. Yomi lived in their house the entire summer, taking care of it to the best of her ability until they returned for a small break from Hebiho. The bean sprout girl was enrolled into the school as a first year due to Naruto's insistence, practically begging, to Suzun sensei. The purple-haired woman grew tired of him bothering her constantly and she finally relented after Yomi expressed interest in joining. Normally, she wouldn't have been an elite like the rest of them. However, when she was tested in the same way as Suzun's other students, Yomi surprised her. Yomi had ridiculous strength, easily capable of lifting things that made Naruto stare at the absurdity of a small girl lifting gigantic objects. Strength aside, Yomi was smart. She had her moments of excessive speech, as seen with her bean sprout tangents, but the girl was cunning. Equal to Haruka in a way, but less manipulative. She was also vindictive towards the upper class, a side of her Naruto wasn't able to change. Hikage-san. Hikage-san. A soft voice called to her, making Hikage shake her head and finally pay attention. It seems she spaced out again. What happened, Yomi-san? She tilted her head towards the blonde girl. Hikage-san, please do not let Naruto leave this room. I will run to my room to collect some bean sprouts so he can enjoy his ramen with it. The first year started to move quickly, reaching the entrance of the room in the blink of an eye. Maybe I'll start leaving some in here just in case. That's a great idea. Yomi basically congratulated herself before exiting the room so fast that Hikage could barely process it. I'm not eating bean sprouts, she grew in a bedroom. Naruto flatly told his girlfriend. Hikage turned to him finally, her lips pulled up into a smirk. We are alone. The green-haired girl told him, still laying down on the couch, her large bust rising with her relaxed breathing. Naruto raised his eyebrow at her words before admiring Hikage as he always did. She also was relatively the same besides a few new additions. You actually make those tattoos look good, ya know. Naruto idly commented as he took in her unique body art. Pure black snake tattoos were on her left breast, shoulder and hip. Her reasoning behind it wasn't to look cool or anything like that, it was due to their mother. Hikage remembers every stab wound their mother suffered at the hands of that rogue shinobi. The main 3 fatal wounds were in the exact position that Hikage chose to tattoo. This was the only gift she wanted for her 16th birthday, and Naruto didn't deny her of that. It was a reminder of Hinata. Hikage would never forget her. I know. You make those whiskers look good. Naruto gave a small laugh at her words, sitting on the couch by her legs. So what happens now that we are alone? He climbed on top of her slightly with a smile. Hubby-chan. Her piercing stare took in every movement he made. Naruto was straddling her at this point, hoping to tease her. You tell me why you've been so busy lately. She watched him almost face plant into her boobs at those words. Catching himself so he didn't fall headfirst into Hikage's heavenly chest, he sighed before leaning away from her a little bit. I'm trying to work some things out with Kurama. We've spent a lot of time focusing on the shinobi tension. While I don't know how it works fully, Kurama wants me to try something the next time I transform. Naruto explained to her with a thoughtful look. He made decent progress with Kurama over the course of a year. The tailed beast didn't overload him with knowledge or techniques, but Naruto appreciated every moment of their partnership. Kurama was also a big help in finally deciding on an outfit for his transformation. The fox vehemently refused to search his memories for cool clothing, but gave up after Naruto didn't stop asking. Ah, Hikage sounded out, showing her understanding. You owe me Naru. Naruto slightly knew what she meant. They've been physical with each other for over a year but haven't moved beyond kissing or touching each other. Hikage wouldn't be the type to be interested in things like this if it weren't for the person involved. She loved him that much and wanted to do a lot with him. Naruto, bless his soul, didn't blush like an embarrassed schoolgirl at her words. He's been changed by the environment. Something Kurama said was a good and bad thing. I know I do, Hikage-chan, but are you ready to move forward? Don't get him wrong. Naruto was willing to do whatever she wanted. After all, he's been forced to endure all the beautiful girls around him every day for a year now. Yet, he never wanted to rush Hikage. The green-haired girl was seemingly content with shoving her tongue down his throat every night. Hikage didn't respond with words. She yanked him down by his school shirt and connected their lips together. The minute Hikage introduced her secret weapon into their lip lock, Naruto lost the fight. Is her tongue even human? Naruto was thinking through the pleasure of the kiss. Her tongue coiling around his own. She kept her hands locked onto his face, caressing him even with her eyes closed. Naruto reached his hands out and laid them against her breasts. Grasping her chest, he moved his hands in soft circular motions, basically massaging her through her very ripped top. It wasn't long before he was rewarded to a somewhat quiet moan from the self-proclaimed emotionless girl. Over a year of extensive research, Naruto discovered she only wore a bra under her top whenever she felt like it. Judging by her arousal and reaction of her hardening nipples, today she was in a different mood. Reaching his hand under her shirt, he pulled it up to expose her chest. Hikage was relentless with her kissing, not stopping her fight for dominance despite Naruto's actions. Removing her hands from Naruto's face, she trailed her hands down his chest before resting on the waistline of his pants. Now he knew things were going a bit far considering their current position. They weren't in their room or home, this was in the middle of their shinobi room. He should stop. It wasn't a good idea. Hikage moaned slightly louder at his actions, making him start to lose the rational part of his mind. The fact that her hands were doing their best to begin pulling his pants down, Naruto didn't care anymore. The only thing he was focused on was Hikage now. Dumbass, look over the couch. Naruto's hands froze on Hikage's chest, he even stopped fighting for dominance with her. She didn't seem to mind, but Naruto knew something was up. Kurama always cut the connection when things like this happened, which meant, "Oh no," Naruto whispered out through Hikage's fierce kissing. The girl broke the kiss with a string of saliva connecting them at his mumbled words. Her chest was rising and falling faster due to her arousal. Naru. Her hands paused from her attempts to remove his pants. She watched his face become a decent shade of red. Raising his head and peeking with existential dread over the couch, he paled at two individuals standing at the entrance of the room. Haruka stood with a huge smile. It was practically straining her face and not in a good way. Yomi. The poor girl was covering her eyes with her hands. Her face was burning hot as she peeked slightly at them. From their position they were able to see the couch quite easily. A bag of bean sprouts laid at her feet, probably dropped from shock at their actions. Usually Naruto and Hikage weren't all over each other around others, so it was a bit of shock for Yomi. Haruka on the other hand. Naruto-kun, I hope you weren't going to do anything drastic with her in this room. Haruka's tone was too sweet. What a crude girl, to still keep her hands on your crotch even as we are talking. She chastised Hikage in an attempt to make her move her hands from Naruto's waist. Hikage's hand did move. It moved right to her leg where she kept a hidden knife sheathed. Leaning up and throwing the knife at Haruka, Hikage genuinely thought it would connect. It would have if it weren't for the weird-looking machine that popped out in front of Haruka with a massive chainsaw blade. One of her puppets, dolls, creations, it didn't matter to Hikage. All she knew was the doll girl needed a stupid machine to protect herself. Era. Hikage-san, you weren't trying to hurt me, were you? I'd be a shame if I had to put you to sleep. But I suppose it wouldn't be too bad. I'd be able to take care of Naruto-kun's problem if you were out of the way. Haruka's smile turned dangerous as she focused her attention on Naruto. A very certain part of Naruto that she was able to see from her position. Naruto sputtered at her words. While Hikage had no qualms with grabbing him and making out whenever, Haruka's words always affected him. Yes, he was with Hikage, but the way Haruka worded things and the downright suggestive tone she had caused some intense reactions. I would cut the connection again, but I want to see how bad this situation could get. Kurama was easily amused nowadays. Hikage slid out from underneath Naruto and stood up to her full height, looking at Haruka with her dead eyes. Haruka looked over the snake girl's form before smirking again. Oh, are you going to fight me like that, Hikage-san? I don't know if you'd be able to focus when you seem to be a bit aroused. At her teasing, Hikage swore to wear a bra more often. Naruto slowly got up and tried to sneakily make a way to the exit. Yomi was still covering her face and mumbling incoherent words. Haruka and Hikage were having a little standoff, so he should be in the clear. A few steps more and he could hide away for a bit. Naruto-kun, don't tell me you're going to leave so soon. Imagine what all those poor shinobi students will think seeing their precious Naruto-sama walking around with such a hard problem. Haruka licked her lips at him, making him choke on his saliva. Yomi gave a small embarrassed yell at Haruka's words. Naruto-san. You can excuse yourself. I'll make sure they don't kill each other. Yomi managed to squeak out despite her embarrassment. Naru. Don't leave Naruto-kun. He knew he'd pay for it in the future. This wasn't the first time, and it certainly won't be the last. He left the room, not wanting to see the potential fight between the two girls. Godspeed Yomi-chan. He mentally prayed for her as he ran full speed ahead to hide out from the approaching storm. He did his best to ignore the obvious problem that was totally Hikage's fault. Naruto began to think of things to kill his arousal. Just think of the other time you kissed the Uchiha brat. I remember you were both connected by some weird jutsu and even used the bathroom together. Kurama was having the time of its life in that seal as the Biju laughed at Naruto's expense. What? I kissed him twice. Kurama. What the fuck? He froze in place in the real world. Keep my memories, Kurama. I don't want them anymore. You can't escape it, Naruto. I eagerly wait for the day you remember how you kissed a boy multiple times before ever kissing a girl. Now he felt like he needed to wash his mouth out. Sometimes having a century-old fox in your head seal was the worst thing in the world. It only took a few minutes for Naruto to snap out of having a midlife crisis at a young age before he remembered what he had to do. Outside of training, school and being with the girls, he usually had one more visit every week. Traversing to the rear of the Hebiho campus, Naruto came across a moderate-sized building. Opening the doors, he was greeted to a sterile smell that made his nose scrunch up. Naruto-san, you're back again. A woman with a pure white nurse uniform greeted him. She was quite beautiful, but then again so were about 99% of the girls he saw on a daily basis. It didn't affect him as much anymore. He gave the black-haired woman a small smile. Yes, I hope you don't mind, Nurse-san. He never did get her name, but it didn't seem too important. He was only in this medical building for one reason. It's never a problem, Naruto-san. In fact, I'm sure she'd be happy to know she has visitors outside of her teammate. The nurse told him kindly. I doubt she'd be happy about me. He thought to himself. Nodding his head at the woman, she waved him off as he knew where to go. Walking down the short hallways, he stood in front of a door that was labeled with a patient number and name. The name is what got to him, Miyabi. Grabbing the door handle and giving it a push, he solemnly took in the sight before him. The white-haired girl would be almost 20 now and a full-fledged shinobi, if it weren't for the fact that she was in a coma at least. He only knew the bare minimum about how she ended up like this even after a year. You again. A somewhat cold voice spoke from the corner of the room. Naruto turned his head to lock eyes with Miyabi's closest and perhaps only friend, Amu. Yo Amu. He greeted her without the usual barb they spit at each other. How's she doing? Naruto felt bad for the girl. They were shinobi for far longer than he was, in this world at least, but seeing her sorrow over her friend was depressing. Amu dropped her glare, still not enjoying Naruto's presence entirely, before letting out a sad sigh. The same as always. The doctors say they don't know if she'll wake up anytime soon. The glasses-wearing girl bit her lip in worry. Naruto turned to look at Miyabi again. It was crazy to him that such a strong girl got hurt this badly. According to Amu, their entire squad got wiped out by some monster or something. It was supposed to be a straightforward mission, but everyone went to shit quickly. Whatever happened at the end resulted in Miyabi's year-long coma. Amu wasn't keen on giving him the details, and the principal of the school was locked up in his office daily, so he couldn't ask the man himself. Both shinobi watched Miyabi breathing quietly. Naruto still felt a bit weird around Amu, as she made it clear about her feelings towards him in the past. Why do you come every week, Naruto? What do you gain from this? Hearing the voice, he turned to the girl who furrowed her brow at him. He looked down in thought. He wasn't even close to Miyabi, he barely knew her. However, the last words and confident smirk she gave him before heading out to her mission stuck with him. He couldn't get over how such a prideful and headstrong girl was put down like this. I don't know, Amu. I guess I feel bad for her. She tried to kill me last year, sure, but. He poorly explained. Imu's eyes searched his face before averting them. I see. So it's just pity, she stated out loud. Naruto shook his head at her words. Not fully. No. Both you and Miyabi are strong shinobi, you don't need pity. I know you don't see me as a comrade and Hebiho doesn't care about companionship, but I would never wish this on either of you. His explanation made Amu focus her gaze on the floor. The room became quiet again, the only sound coming from Miyabi's heart monitor steadily beeping. Naruto cleared his throat to get Imu's attention. How are you doing, Amu? Especially since you know. It didn't hurt to make conversation with the older girl. Amu adjusted her glasses before looking out the glass window that had a view of the castle keep. I am fine. I may have given up on being a shinobi. Though I feel my reason is sound. She trailed off, gazing at the beautiful campus. Naruto watched her face display multiple emotions. Her shinobi status was a tough subject. Instead of continuing without Miyabi, the girl spent her days assisting the medical staff with her best friend's health. Her career as a shinobi was stagnant for the time being, she felt this was more important. You're a good friend, Amu. Sacrificing your career. I'm sure Miyabi is happy to have you around, Yano. He grinned softly at her back. When she wakes up, I'll be sure to let her know you were with her every day as a best friend should be. Amu rose a shaky hand to her glasses again, fixing them for no reason. Her back was turned to Naruto, but she didn't notice the glass of the window reflected her image easily. Thank you, she whispered out and wiped a single tear away from her eye quickly. Standing up slowly, he gave one last glance at Miyabi's still form before making towards the exit. Naruto-san. He paused in his walking at Imu's voice. It was still delivered with her usual strict tone, though the bitter coldness was gone. Do you mind doing me a favor? Amu faced him after making sure no tears were present in her eyes. I don't mind helping you out. What do you need, Amu-chan? Momentarily surprised at the suffix he attached to her name, she let it slide for now, she supposed. My sister. She is a first-year student but refuses to show up for certain reasons. Naruto waited for her to continue. It seemed she was lost in thought. Sorry. Since I'm with Miyabi-chan every day, and our parents are away. Do you mind checking up on her? You don't need to bring her to school. I just can't help worrying. This Amu was completely different from the harsh girl she usually was. Her sister must really mean a lot to her. Naruto noted mentally. No problem. Is she on campus? Amu shook her head at his question. No. Murasaki is at our house in the city. It's not far from the school. I can give you our address. You can visit her this weekend. If that's all right with you. Amu felt really weird asking him for a favor. Maybe he isn't so bad after all. She thought to herself. That sounds good. I'll check on Murasaki this Saturday then. He prayed that Hikage and Heruka didn't find him this time and get the wrong idea. Scribbling down an address on a piece of paper within Miyabi's room, she handed it off to Naruto. I appreciate it, Naruto-san. Amu gave him a stern look. Please be careful when dealing with Murasaki. She's very difficult. Naruto gave her a dry look. Do you know the kind of company I'm around every day, Amu-chan? Quote. You're right. Well, if that's all, I'm going to return before Suzun-sensei threatens me with death again. He laughed happily. Amu deadpanned at his words. Interesting. Good luck, Naruto-san. The whiskered boy threw a wave over his shoulder at Amu. The glasses-wearing girl sat still in her seat before looking to Miyabi. You were right, Miyabi-chan. About him. He's very interesting. Imu's eyes widened when she suddenly remembered an important piece of information. Wait, how the hell is he going to get in the house? She looked ready to jump up before she rationalized that Murasaki is a big girl, she could answer a doorbell. I hope she doesn't react violently to him. Murasaki was a unique girl. Where is Naruto? Suzun-sensei stood impatiently in their shinobi room. The group of 3 inches elite students watched her with averted gazes. The reason for the atmosphere was due to the fight that occurred a while ago and the new addition she brought along with her. Naruto-san had an issue, so he left for a bit. Yomi tried covering for the boy she looked up to. Hikage and Haruka kept quiet, their attention on the girl who was standing next to Suzun with her head down. If he doesn't return soon, Rin's eyebrow started twitching when she heard the loud crash into their shinobi room door. I made it. Is Suzun-sensei back yet? His face paled at being on the receiving end of his teacher's glare. What's up, Suzun-sensei? Beautiful weather today, no? He heard Haruka stifle a giggle at his words. The purple-haired woman looked annoyed at his words. I explicitly told you all to be here at a certain time. You will be punished for this later. Naruto sunk over in depression at her words. Yomi was quick to get to his side, loudly asking him if he's alright. Enough. Suzun icily rose her voice. I've brought a new member of your group. I'm aware Yomi has only joined a few months ago, but she is permitted to be here by both Dogen-sama and Ryo-sama. She gestured with one hand to the black-haired girl who was watching the floor intently. She will not be tested. The reasons are not for you four to know. Do not ask. Suzun warned in a clipped tone. Naruto broke out of his depression at her words and jumped to his feet. Seeing as the girls were just standing around and not introducing themselves, Naruto being himself, decided to break the ice. Hey, my name is Naruto, what's yours? He looked her from head to toe. She looked about their age. Again, he noticed her developed body. There must be something in the water around here. Her black hair was rather long as it was kept tied in a white ribbon and went past her thighs. She was wearing a simple white t-shirt and blue jeans which hugged her curvy form. He couldn't see her eyes since she currently had her head down, but he did notice from her arms that she was rather tan. The last thing he noticed was the hilt of a rather fancy-looking sword peeking over her shoulder. Hey, did ya hear me? He inquired with a head tilt. Maybe she was deaf. Naruto turned to his group of girls who helplessly shrugged at his situation. Rin didn't offer any help either. Do you have a name? He scratched the back of his head in confusion. Fuck off. Those words prompted different reactions from everyone. A gasp from Yomi, a chuckle from Heruka, a glare from Hikage, a sigh from Rin, and Naruto just stared in shock. Was it something he said? I said fuck off. The girl repeated, finally lifting her head to look him in the eye. The shorter girl's dark green eyes bore into his own. Her face would be extremely cute to him, if it wasn't for the snarl overtaking her features. And I thought the white-haired tomboy hated you immediately. Naruto had to agree with Kurama there. I don't know what your problem is. All I asked for was your name. Naruto glared at her lightly. He wouldn't be disrespected by anyone. It wasn't in his blood, nor was he raised to take insults. Hinata would haunt him forever if he acted like a bitch. And all I asked was for you to fuck off. Why the hell is there a boy in an all-girls school anyway? You lose your dick or something. Naruto's eyes widened dramatically at her words. This girl. Homura. Suzun stopped the girl in her tracks and revealed her name to everyone. They are a part of your elite team. I don't care if you are friends. However, you are expected to perform adequately with them. The woman's tone made Homura nod her head reluctantly, obviously wanting to insult Naruto some more. Oi, you think I'm just gonna take that? Naruto yelled as he got close to Homura's face, blue eyes glared into green. You wanna take this outside fox boy? Homura's glare was full of venom. Naruto wasn't even sure why she was pissed at him, all he did was ask for a damn name. She's projecting her troubles onto you. Get used to it, that's how the world works, Naruto. Kurama lazily told him, the Biju has seen many people over its long lifespan act the same way. Humans often had problems that they couldn't deal with and decide to take their anger and feelings out on others. I bet she won't be projecting shit when I kick her ass from Japan to America. Naruto mentally raged. The comment about his lack of a penis seemed to affect him. Kurama snorted loudly. Don't make the same mistake as before. What I mean is don't refer to her ass as pretty, idiot. It was funny when the girls ganged up on him, but Kurama was tired of sending chakra through the seal to heal bumps and bruises. What's the matter, fox boy? You get lost in my eyes. It's not like you got the balls to actually do anything. Homura gave him a dark smile. Naruto's hands tightened into fists, he couldn't believe this girl was getting to him. Grabbing the front of the shorter girl's shirt, he placed his face closer to her own. Narrowing his eyes into slits, he responded back to her taunts. Screw kicking your ass, I'm going to shove that sword so far up it that maybe it'll remove that stick you have wedged up there. His glare was icy cold. That's it. Your dia. Homura began shouting before Suzun slammed her heeled foot down onto the wood. Everyone stopped and turned to her. You will stop this now. There's a certain degree of professionalism Hebiho prides itself on. What you're both displaying is shameful. Naruto, you especially should know better. At her words, Naruto released his grip on the black-haired girl's shirt and stepped back. Homura turned her glare to the floor. Hebiho pride. If it weren't for. She shook her head furiously, making the other girls in the room watch her curiously. I have nowhere else to go, I can't be like this. Breathing in and out deeply, Homura turned to Suzun for further directions. Homura, come with me, we need to get you a uniform. Naruto, don't let this happen again. Suzun made her classic exit of spinning expertly on her heeled shoes and leaving the room. Homura threw one more dirty look at Naruto before following the woman. That was quite the show, him. Haruka's amused voice broke the tension. Yomi looked at Naruto nervously. Naruto-san, are you alright? She hoped he was. After all, they still needed to improve his diet with bean sprouts today. Hikage moved closer to Naruto and noticed his spaced-out look. Kurama, she realized internally. Grabbing his hand, she watched him blink and snap his eyes to her. Blue eyes softened when he noticed her. I'm alright. Sorry I got a little pissed. It was immature to act like that, but just like Miyabi, she rubbed him the wrong way. Unlike the white-haired girl though, he doubted Homura could back it up. Naruto-kun, there's no need to let her words affect you. We all know the truth here, even Yomi-chan. Heruka declared seriously. Yomi and even Hikage looked at her curiously. What? Hikage-san, as much as I hate to admit it, you are his girlfriend, surely you agree. Hikage tilted her head at Haruka's words. Agree with what, Haruka-chan? Naruto had to ask despite knowing he'd regret it. Oh, her claim about you having no dick. Believe me, I've seen it. You have absolutely nothing to worry about, Naruto-kun. She gave him a pleasant smile. He turned his head upwards to stare at the ceiling. He regretted it. Haruka, Hikage said slowly. Haruka-san, that is wildly inappropriate. To discuss Naruto-san's I can't even think about this right now. Yomi's face was so red that steam could probably start coming off it. I don't see the issue here. Naruto-kun was so kind to show us before. Those school pants are quite tight, Naruto-kun. Haruka winked at him. You, me, training room. Now, Hikage stated to the girl, getting a malicious smirk in return. Yomi-chan. Naruto whispered as he continued staring at the ceiling. Why yes, Naruto-san. She still felt embarrassed thinking about his. Oh, she can't even say the word in her head. Tell me the complete history of bean sprouts, leave nothing out. At his demand, Yomi's face lit up in happiness. Naruto briefly wondered if he was going insane. Naruto-san, I knew you would come around. It may have taken months, but I'm so happy. She cleared her throat, similar to a professor about to give a long-winded lecture. Bean sprouts are the. Naruto drowned out the words. He was definitely going insane. Looking down at the address scribbled on a small piece of paper, Naruto rubbed his neck at the main issue. It was Saturday now, and while Suzun-sensei wants them all to meet up around noon, he promised Amu he'd check on her sister. Knocking on the door and ringing the doorbell yielded no results. Huffing in slight annoyance, he stepped away from the door to survey the house. The two-story home looked quite average on the outside, with multiple windows covered by curtains, allowing no passerby to see in. Naruto's eyes scanned over possible entrances. Besides the windows, he had no options. When in doubt, Shinobi it out, he mumbled to himself. Kurama was taking a nap as per usual. It was good that the Biju wasn't awake to make fun of him for uttering such a childish sentence. Making sure to pick a side of the house that was obscured by a tree, to ensure any onlookers didn't see a boy climbing a building with his feet, he channeled chakra. Naruto didn't even think of the repercussions of breaking into someone's house. Getting to the second-story window quickly, he peered in, straining his eyes to see past the curtain. Whatever room he was by was very dark, which he supposed was a good thing. Lucky enough for him, the window wasn't locked. Grabbing it firmly and lightly sliding it up, he entered it slowly. Mentally patting himself on the back for his stealth skills, he ducked his head into the room. And tripped over the long purple curtain by his feet. Tumbling to the floor and pulling the curtain with him, his ears picked up the loud shrill scream from behind him. Oh no. Okay, wait, calm down. Damn it, this fucking curtain. Naruto wrestled with the curtain that was somehow tangled around his body now. He felt soft objects impact with his back. They weren't weapons, surprisingly. They were pillows, genuine pillows being thrown at him. Finally stopping his fussing with the curtain, he turned to the occupants of the extremely dark room. He was glad he pulled the curtain down or he wouldn't be able to see. Who are you? Why'd you break into my room? A very soft-spoken voice called out to him. Even softer than Yomi's. He squinted his eyes to look at the mass of blankets on the bed. A head was peeking out from them. Purple hair and panicked eyes of the same color greeted him. He knew he had to defuse this situation. Amu sent me. My name's Naruto. I'm supposed to check on her sister. Murasaki. He rushed out the explanation. He didn't want to scare the girl anymore. Nobody answered the door after a couple minutes, so I decided to make sure everything was okay. I'm so sorry for this. He gestured to the ruined curtain at his feet. The girl's wide eyes didn't move from his body. She was wrapped in her blankets like a cocoon. Naruto took in his surroundings quickly. The only light coming from the inside of the room was a computer screen. If it weren't the natural sunlight, he'd barely be able to make out her figure on the bed. Hey, are you Murasaki? Naruto gave her a nervous smile, hoping to calm her down. I'm a fucking idiot. I break into her house and act like that's normal. He was very glad Kurama was sleeping. The blankets moved slightly, which Naruto guessed was her agreeing to his question. Okay, good. Amu has her hands full and wanted me to check up on you since your parents are gone. Her purple eyes unnerved him. They weren't the same piercing eyes Hikage usually had. They were admittedly making him nervous. Amu sent you. Naruto barely picked up on her voice. He nodded his head quickly. Yes, I'm sorry about breaking in. I'm kind of in a rush today and yeah, there was no excuse for it. Naruto scratched at his cheek with a finger as he basked in the awkwardness of the room. Why was he always put in these situations with girls, damn it? Turning his attention away from the girl, he did his best to take in the room more. Empty bottles and plates were stacked neatly by her desk. Her room was filled with various electronics and books. Judging by the stale smell of the room, she didn't have her window open often. It wasn't a disgusting smell, but it was easy to pick up on. Murasaki still didn't speak. She observed him intently. Amu-chan. Wants to know if you're doing okay. Murasaki. Murasaki looked surprised at the way he addressed her sister, not knowing of Naruto's easygoing nature. I am well. Her soft voice carried through the room. Naruto looked relieved to hear that. He gave her a nervous smile that made her duck her head into the blankets again. That's good to hear. I'm sure Amu-chan will be happy. He bent down to retrieve the two rather large pillows that were thrown at him. Walking very slowly, as to not intimidate her, he got closer to the bed. Placing the pillows down slowly, he heard her gasp lightly. He cleared his throat to get her attention. Do you need me to tell your sister anything? A shake of a blanket-covered head was the answer to the question. Naruto didn't want to bring up her absence at Hebiho. It wasn't his business and the girl looked like she would pass out if he stayed for much longer. Stepping away from the bed, he got closer to the window and crouched down to retrieve the curtain he knocked down. Murasaki watched his actions without a word. Struggling with putting the curtains back up, Naruto knew he couldn't just leave them lying on the floor. He may have just broken into her home, but he'd have some class at least. I'm basically like Yomi at this point. Giving a tug on the curtain to ensure they were sturdy, Naruto turned back to the strange girl. There ya go. I'm sorry about that again, Murasaki. What a weird way to meet someone, huh? He gave her his best smile, hoping to make her comfortable. It didn't work. Right. I'm going to leave now. Through the window since it's open. I'm glad you're doing all right. He climbed the window gently, to not disturb the curtain. Looking over his shoulder, he threw her a thumbs up and scaled the house, much to her surprise. After waiting a minute, Murasaki slowly removed herself from the blanket cocoon. The sunlight shone on her pajama-covered form. Nervously approaching the window, she dipped her head out and looked for Naruto. He was gone. Releasing a shaky sigh, she closed her window. Returning to her computer, she picked up something along the way. It was an odd-looking stuffed animal, in the shape of a cartoon bear. She hugged the blue and red bear to her body tightly. BB-tan. Murasaki spoke to the stuffed bear with a whisper. His smell. He smelled. Murasaki's face burned extremely bright. She even felt lightheaded. Burying her face into the soft bear, she squeezed her eyes together tightly. Due to being in her dark room for so long, her senses were amplified. Her sense of smell was way better than anything else. She didn't understand how she was able to tell what a person was like based on their smell alone, but she wouldn't complain. It was how she judged others, that being the reason why she never wanted any friends. Friends were pointless. But Naruto, his smell, she said lowly to her bear, affectionately nicknamed BB-tan. A very small abandoned side of Murasaki admitted that she wouldn't mind having Naruto check up on her instead of her sister. Making his way to back Hebiho and shaking off the awful situation he put himself in, Naruto waited for his teammates to join him. It didn't take long for the grand doors of their training room to open and the cold visage of Suzun-sensei greeted him. She was alone. Suzun-sensei, seems I'm the early one for once. He gave her a cheeky smile, hoping to crack through her stony facial features. That's how it should be. Suzun told him calmly. It's actually good that you're alone, Naruto. I have a question I want to ask you. Her words made Naruto look at her curiously. His eyes widened when she appeared in front of him, fist on its way to his face. Grabbing the limb in a fierce grip, Naruto planted his feet firmly on the ground. Tell me, Naruto, what are you? The woman asked him as he held onto her offending hand. Naruto was lost at her words. I'm Naruto. Intelligent as always. Releasing her fist form open palm grip, Naruto watched as she backed away slowly from him. Her massive chest was bouncing with each step. The way you fight, the way you move. Elite or not, what I've seen over the course of 2 years is bordering on being unbelievable. Suzun stayed flatly. Your shinobi tension, you haven't even attempted to delve into any secret shinobi techniques I've been going over with you all. Why is that? She watched his face for any sign of deceit. Unknown to her, Naruto was sweating on the inside. Don't forget Suzun-sensei. Ka-chan was training me for years. As for the shinobi techniques, well, I haven't really tried to use them yet like Hikage-chan or Haruka-chan. He shrugged his shoulders lightly. Naruto never revealed his ninjutsu to Suzun, there was never a time when he needed them. His teacher looked displeased at his words, which happened to be her normal facial expression. Once the others arrive, you will be attempting to use a shinobi art of any kind. Am I clear? Her words were final. Naruto gave her a nod. Already he was screaming mentally for Kurama to wake up. I understand. Although, I don't really need those, Suzun-sensei. I can handle myself just fine. He tried playing it off, but Suzun looked angered at his words. They are a tool for a shinobi to utilize. You are my student. I won't hear of your death simply because you believed you could handle yourself, Naruto. He sheepishly smiled at her words. You win, Suzun-sensei. I'll give it a go. The woman nodded at him before turning to stare at the door and wait for the rest of the girls. Standing in tense silence, Naruto counted the minutes internally and continued shouting for Kurama. The red doors swung open to reveal the one person he'd rather not deal with. Suzun-sensei. Homura greeted, seeing fit to ignore Naruto for the time being. She was wearing her school uniform. It was the same as the other girls, besides Yomi, her skirt being short and revealing. The ornate hilt of a sword was still peeking over her shoulder. She stood to the other side of Suzun, looking at her nails as if she was bored. On Sunday there's a fantastic sale, Hikage-san, could you please come with me? The more we can carry the better. The voice of Yomi was heard as the doors opened again. Hikage was at her side, flat expression attached to her face. I guess Yomi-san. Oh, you are the best, Hikage-san. Hikage nodded her head slowly before noticing Naruto. Her heart started beating faster as she moved towards him, ignoring everything else at the moment. Naruto grinned at her before she felt face drop in anger. A shadow came up from behind Naruto and draped their arms around his shoulders. Naruto-kun, you're looking handsome this morning. Naruto blushed at the voice speaking into his ear. Her warm breath and bust pressing against him was a deadly combination. Hikage reached slowly for her sheath, making Heruka grin. Oh, calm down, Hikage-san. I was just greeting my Naruto-kun. Hikage's yellow-eyed glare was blazing at those words. She walked up to Naruto before grabbing his arm harshly, eliciting a yelp from the boy. He's mine, doll girl. Back off. Hikage pressed Naruto's arm into her own chest now. Hikage-san. Haruka-san. Please refrain from hurting each other right now. The voice of reason was Yomi. Naruto looked at her happily. She was a lifesaver. His arms were going to fall off at this rate. Girls. Suzun paused. Naruto is going to do something for me before I assist Yomi and Homura for today. They all blinked at her words. Even Homura turned to Naruto curiously. Hikage reluctantly let go of Naruto's arm, pecking him on the cheek quickly, much to Haruka's ire. Naruto, use your shinobi tension first. The only male in the room nodded as he reached into the pocket of his uniform pants. Haruka pouted at his action. Naruto-kun, I still think you should keep that scroll somewhere safer. The busty blonde told him with a suggestive undertone. Haruka-chan, for the last time, I'm not putting it in my pants. He deadpanned at the smiling girl. It'll be the only thing you got down there, huh, Naruto-kun? He heard the voice of Homura comment. Her smirking face made his eye twitch. You better hope I don't get the chance to spar with you today, Homura-chan. Naruto attached the suffix to her name in an attempt to piss her off. All he got was a smug grin in return. Shrugging off his annoyance at the younger girl, he stood in front of them and raised his scroll high. Shinobi tension. The extremely bright light made everyone close their eyes. Two of the girls were very disappointed they never got the chance to see his process of transforming. The one-man light show died down and Naruto breathed out a sigh of relief. The scroll worked in weird ways, but he was satisfied. His new outfit was much more comfortable than his school uniform. Mostly the pants. A black and blue blank headband was secured around his forehead. A long dark blue cloak extended out behind him, black flames licked at the bottom of it. Covering his chest was a thin white dress shirt that was open to reveal his muscled chest and Hikage's locket. Navy-colored loose pants covered his lower body, held up by a small white rope. The rope held his trench knives securely. Upon his feet were blue open-toed shinobi sandals. Naruto loved these clothes, they were very comfortable, plus his cloak was badass. It took days of begging Kurama, but the fox finally relented to explain the design of it to him. Hikage and Haruka greedily took in his form, especially his broad chest that was on display. Yomi blushed at how cool he looked and Suzun watched with a passive expression. Homura. You look like a delinquent. The girl remarked, pointing at his unique getup. Naruto grit his teeth at her words, his outfit was awesome. Your words don't bother me when a light breeze shows your ass off to everyone. He told her coolly. Homura looked scandalized at his words. What? It does not. She turned to look at herself quickly. She turned to the other girls to get confirmation from them. Hikage stared blankly while Yomi looked at her awkwardly. Homura-san. Yomi started to say. Red panties certainly suit your hot-blooded nature, Homura-san. Haruka gave her a closed-eye smile. Homura looked horrified. Naruto. Take this. Suzun threw something towards the boy who previously had his arms crossed. What's this, Suzun-sensei? He tilted his head at the small scroll. Was something sealed in it? Some shinobi utilize summons when performing shinobi arts. Not everyone is able to use these techniques, but it can't hurt to try. These summons are usually figments of your creativity given life by the yin and yang energy we have within us. She explained, making Naruto stare at her with a dead expression. Do you even realize how silly that sounds? Put your energy into the damn scroll, Naruto. Naruto knew he didn't quite have this energy she spoke of, but judging by the fact that his shinobi tension scroll works, it couldn't hurt to try. Opening the scroll, it appeared blank to him. Biting his lip in thought, he figured he'd just pump as much chakra into it as possible. Naruto, what the hell are you doing? Kurama's somewhat drowsy voice called out to him. The Biju noticed a ridiculous amount of chakra being channeled through Naruto's body and even some tailed beast chakra was circulating. Don't worry, Kurama, just trying something out. Naruto focused hard on the object in his hands. Kurama began to feel a weird sensation. Naruto. Stop. Cut the flow of. A loud popping sound occurred in the room as smoke clouded the senses of every shinobi present. Quote. Chakra. Kurama screamed out loud. Smoke clouded the Biju's vision. Kurama. Naruto's startled yell made everyone stare at the smoke. The former gigantic form of the tailed beast sat in front of Naruto. The titanic fox was reduced to the size of a large wolf, 9 orange tails waved lazily behind its form. The room was deathly silent. Even Hikage was wide-eyed at the display in front of her. Rin was shocked to the core. She knew many shinobi were able to summon animals of different kinds, but a nine-tailed fox. The color of its evil eyes alone reminded her of a Yoma. Purple-haired woman. Explain to me clearly what the hell these scrolls are. The Biju roared out to the shell-shocked Rin. Naruto broke out of his stunned state to approach the fox. Kurama. What the hell happened? Kurama turned to its partner. Its tall partner. No. No. Kurama panicked internally. Kurama, you okay? The Jinchuriki questioned his nervous partner. I will Biju bomb everything in sight if I'm the size of a fucking dog, Naruto. The whiskered boy started sweating. Hey now. Just don't look down alright Kurama. He stuttered out. Kurama looked down. I recommend putting up a dumb barrier. I'm 2 seconds away from raising this place to the ground. Naruto. What is this? Rin barely managed to get out of her stupor. Naruto scratched the back of his head again. Screw it, he thought to himself. This is my partner Kurama. I hate you all. Shinobi scrolls were bullshit.